Trading at Schwab is now powered by Ameritrade, giving you even more specialized support than ever before. Like access to the trade desk, our team of passionate traders ready to tackle anything from the most complex trading questions to a simple strategy gut check. Need assistance? No problem. Get 24/7 professional answers and live help, and access support by phone, email, and in-platform chat. That's how Schwab is here for you, to help you trade brilliantly. Learn more at schwab.com/trading.
With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 350 plus undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
In an effort to wow all the cools at a house party, did you make the mistake of wearing your mom's white suede three-piece outfit you'd been forbade to wear only to have some galoot spill red wine all over it, leaving you up shit creek? Did your nerdlinger lawn-mowing classmate then approach you with an indecent proposal wherein he'd give you the, checks notes, $1,000 to replace said outfit in exchange for pretending to be his girlfriend to make him popular? Did you then watch as his meteoric rise through the social strata of Tucson High turned him into a primo doucher, only to have him come crashing back down to earth when his scheme was exposed? If so, you may have just been propositioned by Patrick Dempsey in the Unkind Rewind, where we watched the 1987 romantic teen comedy Can't Buy Me Love.
Thrill me.
I'm gonna name you Coda. You get a name too, Podo.
His name is Happy Harry Hardon. He's a total sex maniac. Of course.
Greetings from the last city of the East, St. Paul, where I, Josh Dugan, am totally baffled as to what was going on in the Tucson fashion scene in 1987. As is customarily the case, I'm joined by my Manhattanese co-host, Sean McGrath. Sean, have you been walking around with a cool grand trying to figure out how to best waste that money?
First thing I'm doing is ripping off all the sleeves of my shirts. So every button up that I have, sleeves gone, first and foremost. Experimenting with some different sunglass styles, experimenting with a lot of mousse, and then working on some pretty awful robot arm moves to kind of entertain people on the subway, but most people here don't pay any attention to anything I just said.
On the line this week, we're joined by the delightful Canedy Knowles. Canedy, have you been wandering around in a white suede outfit just waiting to spill your glass of Shiraz on it the instant a scrawny young Patrick Dempsey comes chugging into your life on his riding lawnmower?
It's been the goal of my life.
Okay.
At least since I was 11.
Sure. So, Canedy, why don't you tell the listeners who didn't get invited to the pool party last week and missed your Q's and T's installment a little bit about yourself?
Well, in case you don't know who I am, which would be really shocking if you don't live in Alpharetta, Georgia, I am a actress, director, mom, klutz, who lives in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, to be almost exact. And I guess that's really it. I write. Oh, I'm also a writer. That's right. I also write. And I improvise. I'm going to think of things the whole time. And I am allergic to gluten and dairy.
So you can't eat many things.
No, I can't. I can't eat a lot.
Was gluten like the test? You got the test done?
No, my mom just told me when I was 20 that maybe gluten was the thing that was making me insane. And I followed her, and she said maybe just cut out gluten. And I did, and it solved all my problems. I no longer have any like dysregulation at all. It really was the gluten.
You then therefore have to find something new to chalk up your craziness?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
unfortunately now.
just
As it comes back.
draw
I
a
just
line
keep
through
taking
gluten.
things out of my diet or adding things in and seeing what it is.
I'm mostly gluten.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I did a 23andMe test, it would be like 80% gluten and then like 13% Southern Europe and then... But it's...
1% Catalonian.
Yeah, it's heavy, heavy gluten.
Yeah, you're like my husband. So, we are Jack Sprat and his wife, essentially. Like, he only eats bread, and I only eat everything else but bread.
Now, you don't have celiac disease, though?
No,
Okay.
it's not, which, thank goodness.
Is it processed, like, I know some people can do sourdough, but other breads don't. Can you do sourdough or no?
I can. It's, we can go down the rabbit hole of my very specific
I'm curious.
idiosyncratic.
It's what this
happy to
podcast's
talk
all about.
It. I know. Unkind Rewind with Cannedy's Gut. What's crazy is that when we're in Europe, I can eat pretty much everything.
Wow.
So it's a
can
matter
eat
of
all
processed
of the
food.
cheese. It is. It's all the processing, and it's like the pasteurization process here. So when we're over there, I am nonstop eating cheese and bread, and then when we get back,
If there was ever a time to think about moving.
if the bread and cheese wasn't enough,
Yeah, I think Josh and I are also looking at small places in Holland.
hey, we have one, so.
They're cool. Cool is probably a Dutch word, right? They probably stolen cool.
Oh, everything's been stolen. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, really, are we going to also go down that rabbit hole of claiming the Dutch
Oh, yeah.
that we stole
Well-
from the Dutch?
Yeah, I'm living in formerly Dutch property.
Yeah.
You are. Brookline,
Mhm.
that's one.
So before we delve too far into the social stratification and lack of upward mobility in Tucson High, where can our listeners find you, Canedy?
So they can find me on my website. I think that's probably the best way to get all the information of where I am, assuming I've updated it. And that's CanedyKnowles.com. And then there's also, I have a fan page on Facebook if you are like my age or older and actively engaging with that platform. And then my phone won't let me download TikTok again. So unfortunately, or fortunately for everyone, you will not find me on that platform. Probably much to my daughter's preference, I am not on TikTok. And then I'm on Instagram or IG, I think, or the Gram. Insta? How are we referring
Well, good
to
thing
it?
good thing
Do
that
you
you
have
said
an
it all.
Insta and a Finsta, or just?
Yeah, do
I
you
don't have a
Finsta?
Snapchat. I have an Insta and a Finsta
Okay.
that you can get with my singing telegram.
By the time that this airs, Josh will just put in whatever word is more in vogue in the time
That'll be good.
of
Thank
dropping.
you.
Yeah,
It'll
so
go.
I'm glad that you kind of covered all of them.
Yep. Or you could just, Josh, you could just go, you can find me on the Instagram or on the, just my AI voice.
It'll just be Josh's voice.
Yeah,
I hope.
He's a good mimic.
I'll try to mask it. I'll try to not sound like myself.
Get some helium.
So last week I said that I thought I had seen Can't Buy Me Love once.
Mm-hmm.
The more I thought about it, the more I wasn't sure that I hadn't conflated this and Some Kind of Wonderful. Probably because it's two song title, and that maybe I'd like combine them into a movie. I don't know. Watching this now, zero recollection. None whatsoever.
You still think you saw it once?
I think I saw it once. I think I saw it in the dorms. But when I was watching this with my wife, who I would theoretically have watched this with, she asked, when does he start delivering pizzas? So she clearly got this jumbled up with Loverboy.
I think a lot of people do that. I think a lot of people have had that because he's a similar character, right? He's like a hapless, kind of nerdy character at the start, and then through the screenplay's developments, of course, he becomes different. And yeah, I think the pizza thing is probably what a lot of people are thinking about with Can't Buy Me Love as well. Maybe when she watches Loverboy, she's like, when does he buy the telescope?
That's me. Yeah.
Sean, what was your history with Can't Buy Me Love?
This was a movie at my cousin's house. So for family get-togethers and cookouts and things like that, it was one of the probably 5 to 10 options that came up if we needed to kill time and watch a movie. But I'd say even though it wasn't in the home rotation, I probably saw this like 3 times 30 years ago. At least 30 years ago. So yeah, so pretty fuzzy on the specifics, but the major developments here I remembered quite well.
Okay. And Canedy, how long did you think it had been since you last saw this?
I definitely a couple decades. I would say at least 3 decades since the last time I saw this movie.
So jumping right into the pre-interview, we asked you what you remembered the plot of Can't Buy Me Love being.
There's a boy who mows lawns. That boy is Patrick Dempsey. Not in the movie. He's a different character, but the actor is Patrick Dempsey. He mows lawns.
Honorary Irishman McDreamy.
Yes.
I believe.
And I did have the privilege of doing a film with him later in life, and he is McDreamy, and those blue eyes are hypnotizing. They are truly McDreamy. He has a crush on a very rich, blonde, I believe she has cascading blonde curly hair. You could tell I was like 10. The things that I remember are like what she wore and what she looked like, because I legit tried to do those things and failed. So she has this long curly blonde cascading hair, and she goes to a party and she doesn't know what to wear, which is a problem when you live in Beverly Hills or wherever she lives and you have a big closet. And so she takes her mother's or her stepmother's, or maybe it's her older sister, a very young woman who's supposed to either be her mom or maternal figure, takes her white suede outfit and wears it and spills red wine on it.
I mean, who wouldn't?
I tried to find a white suede halter top skirt outfit.
She goes to a high school party where there's red wine.
Yes.
Cool.
I believe she's in high school. Maybe I feel like she is.
Okay.
And she gets red wine spilled all over it and she can't get it out. And so I think Patrick Dempsey teaches her what work is, how one earns money. I'm not sure if this is about like, hey, you put effort in, you get a return, or, wow, I've lived in this privileged life forever and look at you and doing things that are, I don't know, satisfying. I don't know. But I believe she gets the outfit and she falls in love. So there's a whole second act there that I really do not remember.
Okay.
I feel like I put my proletariat spin on this, like pretty hardcore. I was like working class all the way, and it's the opposite.
Yeah. When did it strike you that what we were actually watching was a treatise on the value of escort work? Not to denigrate said work in any way.
Nope, we don't do that here.
But not the value of earning your keep through hard work.
Yep, nope, that was pretty early on. Actually, I told my girlfriend, who's of the same age as me, and that I was watching Can't Buy Me Love, and she's like, oh yeah, that's the one where, and laid out the entire plot. She's like, I haven't seen it in 30 years, but she knew the whole plot. I went, oh, right. So before I saw it, I was prepared because she sort of tumbled out. I know. I think that might be a mistake. But I wrote some notes as I was watching it just because that's what I like to do. And at the bottom of the first page, which is pretty close to the beginning, I have in all caps, prostitution. Escort. So it's like full on right at the bottom. Oh, right. And that's about when my daughter came in to watch the movie with me. So that was fun. But yeah.
So obviously your memory of the premise and second half was hazy. No judgment, as I honestly thought I'd seen this and had no recollection of anything. So
what was strange, though, is that as I was watching it, it was coming back to me as if I was replaying a dream, like as if I'd unlocked some portion of my brain that had been like tightly put in a ball, almost like a trauma, like when you go into therapy and you're like, oh, and you're reliving it. The anteater dance, Like, as he was going to look at the TV, I was like, oh my gosh, this is where we do the anteater dance. Because my sister and I still do that to each other. But we don't remember what movie that was from. And the white convertible cabriolet, like, that was my dream ride forever. With a roll bar. Because I did not want to kill myself. And then watching the movie, I'm like, oh, this is where that's from. So it really was this very strange relationship with my memory as I watched it.
Like having weird things rush back.
Almost like a trip, which I've never been on, but I imagine that watching this movie would be like an acid trip, like post-acid trip when you're talking about it, or one of those mushroom therapy trips, and you're unlocking it. That's what it sort of felt like as I was doing it.
What was the most surprising thing to you that you'd completely forgotten?
All of it.
Okay.
The whole, like, let me think. The whole thing was very surprising that I forgot that the plot was that he bought his way into popularity. Like, legitimately, I don't know how I forgot that. That being the entire plot.
Yeah.
And that I just reversed it to say, oh, this was a much more redeeming movie than it actually was. I only liked movies that were really like helping us understand class structure, but it was in the reverse. So it was, I think that was the biggest surprise was the whole thing. Is that too broad a stroke?
No. So Sean seemed to think it was odd that there was red wine at this high school party, which I would generally concur with. As a child, you surely thought nothing of it, but as an adult, did that stick out as odd to you?
For sure. I think that watching it, seeing how much alcohol, and specifically red wine, there was at the party without there being any comment about it at all. Where are the parents? Where are the adults in this movie? Except for, those very useful teachers who don't stop Patrick Dempsey from brandishing a bat at the end. Spoiler alert. I don't want to give away the end. And the mother.
We're jumping all around. You can spoil whatever. Yeah.
But all these parents who are sort of in weird, like, I don't understand any of their motivations in any of it. Like, they really are non-existent. And I think in a lot of the 80s movies that was the case, like those adult figures. And so watching it now, it doesn't, having been a teenager and knowing the trouble that I got in, but I think the fact that nobody commented on it in a movie that's geared towards kids just speaks to, the whole 80s vibe, if we're going to go into our talk as the kids do these days.
I think like this is a pretty popular convention in the 80s movies, is the party without parents present. And we've gone through a lot of movies where parents take multiple week vacations away from their minor children. But it is either a movie convention that like, hey, we need to advance the plot. We need to have parents not be there so that bad decisions can be made.
Really bad decisions can be made.
or it's more of a, like, these characters are all older than us, and so maybe by the time we're at the high school, things are tapering off a little bit. I was at parties in high school where there was drinking, but it wasn't with run of the house, which they seem to kind of have pretty wide reign over.
I think that's the key difference, because there was certainly access to all sorts of inappropriate and illegal paraphernalia as a teenager, especially a teenager in New York City, right? Like, the world is, you have access to whatever you want if you can get to a bodega and have $7.
Yeah.
But the difference being this just free range to do it all without consequences other than needing to replace your suede dress.
Yeah, and on that too, we should just point out, like, he is kind of, like, there's the jock subset in this movie, but he's kind of the dick of them. Like, he's the one they don't like. He's the one that they kind of, like, roll their eyes the most over. Even though they're all pretty terrible jocks. And very early on, he steals a kid's lunch, like, right out of the line. He makes another kid move from a table. He intimidates Ronald. But he gives probably the worst high five in cinema history, where he's holding a bottle of wine. He's trying to impress, underclassmen, I guess.
She's a transfer student, right? Oh, no, that's later. The transfer student's later. Sorry.
Yeah, but...
What girl is he trying to?
Yeah, all of them. But he goes for the high five with the glass of wine in the hand that he's high-fiving. I don't know if he remembered how high fives work, but you do need to have a free hand. And it hits her pretty hard. Hopefully they only did one take of that. I mean, how many suede outfits can you go through on a meager budgeted rom-com?
Yeah, this was non-union, so...
And also, I'm sure that was actual suede. I'm sure this was not faux suede, because that's how very method this group was, if I understand it better.
Canedy, maybe you can shed some light a little bit on, Josh and I wouldn't borrow anything from our dads. Is this something that girls did in high school, was pilfer from mom's closet?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for the brief amount of time that my mom and I had the same size shoe and she was in style, I would be wearing her shoes. I still go pilfer my mom's closet. If I'm at her house and I forgot like a jacket, I'll go straight in there. And she doesn't care. Like, she's like, okay, whatever. My daughter does it to me now. And she's a good foot shorter than I am. And she'll pull out my sweaters. Her foot is almost to the size of mine. So yeah, this is a tried and true tradition and expectation. Okay. That as long as your mom has at least one stylish outfit.
And I'm only speaking really for myself here.
Yeah, I actually took stuff from my dad.
Okay, well, what did you take?
He had bell-bottom jeans. This was, mid-90s. So he still had some 70s stuff that worked.
My dad did have one cool 70s outfit that I think was given away by my mother during a move, of which we bring up all the time.
Okay. I actually wore his suit that he wore when they got married. I wore that to prom junior or senior year that had flare bell-bottoms, and it was pretty dope.
You were so cool.
Yep.
We were, maybe.
Past tense.
Yeah.
Riley Herbst from 2311 Racing here. And you know what grinds my gears? Waiting for coffee. But instead of counting frappes and lattes, I fire up Chumba Casino. No apps, no fuss, just fun social casino games to pass the time. By the time my coffee's ready,
order for Riley.
I've already taken a few victory laps. Next time you're stuck waiting, make it entertaining. Play for free at ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
So this made sense, though, the stealing of mom's item.
Well, yeah, and they do such a good job of character development in this movie that you really understand the motivations and you can get on board with them, right? Like, I could understand why she would need to steal that outfit because her mom only let her take certain credit cards. Her boyfriend isn't calling her or mentioning her on TV. Like, she's got a rep to protect. So I was totally on board with all of this, because they did a good job.
They actually do a change in the music when she walks into her mother's closet. It's like this Indiana Jones type of like reveal, like a, cascading waterfalls and treasure rubies. Going into mom's closet felt like a complete tonal change of which she is not really allowed to go in there. This particular suede outfit was protected, right, by a garment bag.
Oh, and her mom had said definitively no when she left with that very upstanding guy.
Yeah, thank God we only saw one scene of mom's boyfriend.
Oof. Wow.
Rock?
Rock.
Rock? Brock? Was it Rock?
It was Rock, yeah.
I heard this, because my brain would not allow that in. It was too upsetting.
You thought there might be a father in the picture for her. How did you feel about him?
Oh, I was delightfully surprised. No, then I remembered. It really was like as the movie was going on, I went, oh, right. That's right. Her mom is also dating. And, it's just interesting when you're young what you delete, like what you just don't take in. And as an adult, I'm going, oh, my goodness, no, stop. And that closet, by the way, I imagined it as way bigger. I imagined it the way that they do makeover closets now on like fixer-upper or one of those. And it really was smaller than my closet now. So I feel like I've made it to that top strata of Tucson elite and have kind of edged beyond it. And that was really life affirming to see that. No, but as a kid, like I see that, I'm like, oh, that looks so big. It's so cool. And then it's really.
Could you empathize with her mother in that you have things that are off limits to your daughter?
You know what? The fact that I'm empathizing and like talking about her closet, I feel like is just reiterating, I don't know, the part of me that also only remembered the suede dress, which is a rather shallow part of me. The only redeeming quality being that I thought it was a reverse, right? We're just going to go back to the fact that I thought it was about being a working class person and how important it is to work. Wasn't that?
That didn't come up at all, yeah.
No. Yes, it did.
Well,
Patrick Dempsey didn't get where he was without mowing how many miles of lawn? There was like
he didn't get to
400.
become a capitalist predator until,
He had to work. He earned his position.
I think, though, that, like, it would have helped, before we're getting to, like, grand fixes here, but I think it would have helped a little bit if mom was a bitch. Like, this mom was pretty rad.
She was very cool.
Yeah.
I mean, she had pretty bad taste in men, clearly.
Sure, but good women have bad taste in men. Like,
this kind of guy, however, I think this is a major character flaw.
But she also dropped him, right? Like, Rock isn't in the picture throughout the course of the movie. She has,
but a lot of time passes. Like, this movie takes place over months.
Yeah.
And she is with him for a while. Like, he is a predator that she is letting into their house.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you.
If anybody recalls the Unkind Rewinds episode of Firstborn, Terry Garr was a cool mom that made a really awful choice by bringing in fucking coke addict.
But he just wanted to open a restaurant, Sean.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Give a listen to that episode if you haven't already. But yeah, like, I'm not going to lambaste the mom for making a poor decision with Rock early on. Unless, of course, he shows up incessantly and like ogles her daughter the way that he did at the beginning.
Also, we can't blame her because two dudes wrote this movie, right? So like, if we're going to really, like, where's the motivation? Here are two guys, like, that was a pretty consistent joke that happened. Like, every 80s movie that I watch now with my daughter, I cannot watch with her for those reasons, because there are always these adult male predators who are either like Bill and Ted's, the dad is dating their high school friend, like he's married to someone who they went to high school with. I mean, this is a consistent comedy trope, like, to get some laughs, right? Haha, let's put this 15-year-old in a difficult situation, and won't that be funny?
It's even worse than that, because I don't know if you guys looked into Amanda Peterson.
Oh, I did, and I was going to bring that up later, but trigger warning.
Yeah, huge trigger warning here. At 15, which is her age when she made this movie, she was raped, and that likely contributed to a lifetime of drug use that eventually cost her life at 43. Yeah. So it may have happened on this movie.
May have not.
May have not. We don't know. There are no details, and out of respect for her and her story, I don't necessarily think anybody needs to dive into it any more than what they've shared, but I think it does bring up a really good and important point, which is that she's 15. Patrick Dempsey is 20. That blonde jock dude has got to at least be 30. Yeah. Like, there's no way he is 15.
One of her friends, I believe, is late 20s. Yeah. The shorter of her brunette friends is late 20s. The taller one, I think, is closer to her age. But she is the youngest. Age.
She was Kelly Bundy originally. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And she is by far the youngest, and she's pretty, like, perfect for this role in a lot of ways, too. I mean, she's playing a senior, right? Of which she has not a lived experience of. And yet she is very much the cool senior girl with the college boyfriend far away.
Yeah.
But she walks through that whole movie with a lot of status.
She's great. I mean, going back and watching it again, just the pieces, once I did the deep dive, because I watched it, and then a friend of mine was like, you do remember what happened to Amanda Peterson? And I went, oh, yeah, I do. And so read about it and then went back and watched pieces of it, it just really struck with how much she did carry that movie with such status, and that she not only held her own, but was better than a lot of the older actors in it. And to think that one, she's 15, and two, that something terrible had happened around that time just was very, as a mom and a woman, heartbreaking, to just see, if we're going to, just for a moment, to think about how many of those young girls, were put in these situations without any parental, I'm sure her parents were there, but it speaks to just this party where there aren't any parents and they're like, this is fine. And then you put her into this space with these older people, and it's the requirement to be more mature than she maybe is or needs to be.
Right.
And I don't think we need to play podcast investigators here, but this, as Josh mentioned, this was a non-union production. There was probably a certain cost-cutting agenda in a lot of crew, perhaps,
there
as well.
absolutely was, yeah.
So in terms of maybe any kind of safeguards that were in place on a union production to kind of remind people this is a minor, shout out Kendrick, this is a minor on set, right?
Yeah.
A very strange scene when they are doing the gymnastics routine in the beginning. Did you guys catch what's going on in the background there?
The gymnastics, no,
cheerleading?
The
cheerleading scene, yeah.
The cheerleading scene?
They have picketers. If you look in the background, there's SAG picketers with giant signs, and they try to cut around it, but they don't do a great job. And that's because this was a non-union production. And Josh backed me up on this, but they were using high school kids as unpaid extras.
The SAG-AFTRA reps went to the high school to try to get kids to not be background in the movie. And the drama club at least had their back, but I presume other high schoolers did not. So,
because the drama club had their future. They knew where their bread was going to be buttered.
They're like, are you guys going to Taft-Hartley me?
Right. If not, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, so there was a lot of people in this movie that were probably there for the experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably how it was marketed to them as a way to kind of give them their time.
Yeah.
Because it's a pretty big high school, and there's a lot of scenes which we, especially kind of those lunchroom scenes and whatnot.
Did the lunch situation strike either of you as weird, where it felt like they were going to a concession stand? Not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I attribute that a little bit to Arizona, but it did seem like a public pool kind of walk up and get your, your snacks,
your push
your soda.
It felt to me also like the lunchroom in Greece during Summer Lovin', and, where it's all outside on the picnic tables, very beautiful and sunny. Mm-hmm. And also.
I mean, the outside seating wasn't as strange to me. It was really the lunch line,
right,
that I was like, what in the fuck is happening here? What kind of school is this?
I don't know if it is cycled back around in public schools today, but I went to high school during an era where the PTA had successfully argued to not have soda or pop machines in the schools. And so that was a big deal. It was you could get the bottled water, I think from Dasani, of course, which is Coke.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's not like they were standing on too many moral mountaintops, but kids walking around with cans of Coke and Sprite are way more of a hallmark for an 80s movie than my experience.
And there's a really nice Coke placement at one point too that I just remember.
Mm-hmm.
There were some really good shots of the Coke can.
Yeah, Doritos, High Life, and Coke.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of product placement early on.
I also saw some of the materials, some of the school materials, calendar of events, are sponsored by Pepsi. So they were getting money from both of the big daddies on this one. But yeah, this movie kind of jumps around from holiday to holiday in a lot of ways. It's one of the only high school movies I can kind of built out around a romance that doesn't get to prom.
We mention it,
right? But New Year's is kind of the second act break here, right? New Year's is the big event. Yeah.
When my daughter, and I think this to me was one of the things that was so just felt like whiplash, maybe not interesting. Interesting gives it way too much depth. Was that so much happens. Much happens. My daughter came in right when he was holding up the money for the suede outfit. And she's like, what's happened so far? And that's it's not even 20 minutes in. It's like super fast that this happens. And she's like, what happened so far? And I filled her in and she was, that is a lot that happens in 5 minutes. And I think that speaks to the movie, and it goes back to this idea of the music, that I felt like the music did a lot of the work, that where they lacked character development, they just plopped on the music to let us know that this is the moment she's falling in love. This is the moment where they get the realization, which music does. I understand, like, that's what the score is for, but usually it doesn't do all of it for you. Like one look of Cindy Mancini, and then the music swells and you're like, oh, she's in love. Like it was such a shorthand. I felt like at the point that this movie was made, we'd also bought into or knew what that was supposed to be, what these tropes were, that all we needed was a music cue and like little Pavlov's dogs were like, oh, this must be that moment. Oh, this is that. But that was the other thing. The airplane graveyard, that was another thing that popped out of my brain. I remember it being the most romantic place that someone could take, that like a guy could take you on a date. And I couldn't remember why. And then I saw this movie and I was like, oh, that's why.
We should talk about that just for a second, because Kennedy brought it up.
The graveyard or romance?
Well, both, because that scene is where she falls for him, right? He does not pick it up.
No.
He's too dense to realize kind of what's happening. He misses that moment, right?
Just to give a little bit of credit to him, I don't think there's a reality in which, if you're him, you would think that she would catch feelings for you.
Yep.
I don't think there's ever any point at which that thought would cross his mind, because it would have seemed like an impossibility, you know?
Yeah. At some point, though, he does kind of realize when people are interested in him.
Yeah.
Right. Like he kind of works his way through this school.
Oh, it's terrible.
Again, Canedy, can we talk maybe about the reality of that? The reality of a boy, like, checking off friends within a group off of a list? Because for me, that's something that, like, it's like the bro code, right? A little bit like you don't go after your friend's ex.
To be fair, though, I don't know that he's actively checking them off so much as they're actively checking him off.
Yeah.
But why?
I'm not saying, I'm just, like, I think the dynamic is reversed. I'm not saying that you're not correct in wondering how that could happen, because I don't think it would.
He's responding to the attention, of course. Mm-hmm. This is somebody who has, like, wandered through the desert without a cup of water and now is at this oasis, of which he's taking full advantage. But Canedy, did you feel like that storyline of like Cindy's friends kind of going after him was plausible?
No. I mean, yes, because when you suspend your disbelief, you also have to suspend the reality of like, so I went to multiple schools in very different areas of the country. And for a while, we were in a very small southern town. And I would say that that was much more plausible there, where everyone, like, where you have 400 people and that's it in the whole county. And so you can't have an off limits, because then that's it, right? You get one person who dates 7 people and then there's nobody else to date, right? Whereas in New York, that was way more, because there were so many people that were there. So, yes, I think there would have been maybe hopefully a conversation about it when my girlfriends would maybe have a crush on someone that I had a crush on. Even before there was dating, we would have the conversation. Usually it was whoever said, I have a crush on him first.
You stayed.
So it was dibs.
It was dibs, yes. As if the guy was like, would any one of us could. But that was sort of more the logic, right? And then if someone dated him, you didn't date them after. But the difference being that she lets everyone know Like, oh no, they break up. That's right. They haven't told him yet. So she's broken up with him. And I can't remember. And I guess there wasn't is it cool that I go out with him? They just went after him. I don't even remember if that moment was there, because it would be okay if someone went, is it okay if I go out with him? And you go, yeah, go for it. Good luck. Or no, I don't want you to.
Did we have that scene? I don't know if we had that scene.
I know there wasn't a permission asked, but I think they sort of told her they were going to, and she didn't object.
Mm-hmm. Because she still had her boyfriend in...
Right.
Bobby.
Bobby was still in the picture. So
the 30-year-old.
Yeah. Well, no.
One of many 30-year-olds.
One of many 30-year-old men who are running
playing
around
18 or
amok
yeah.
in that space.
Now, I do want to contextualize him for a second, because I don't think the audience at home understands kind of fully what he is. So at this point in time, this would be written pretty much the year after Chuck Long was the Heisman runner-up to Bo Jackson at Iowa. Like, the quarterback of Iowa the year before was Heisman runner-up. So, like, he's going to a school that wouldn't now be like a place where like a good quarterback would have come from, but at the time it would have been. So he was a very hot shit football prospect.
Yes, and they do a good job of that in showing that they're building a new stadium. I assumed that was because Bobby was so good that now all of the scouts were going to be coming to Tucson High School. Yeah. Which I guess justified the fact that Patrick Dempsey was riding his bike through sand dunes and construction that they couldn't not shoot around. So they just stuck up a sign that said future home of the Tucson Stadium.
He was popular enough to get a cardboard cutout, like professionally.
Life size.
Yeah, which we see at the back of Cindy's door. I mean, there is that moment like early on though too. Like her relationship with Bobby is complicated to say the least. But she's very excited to see him on TV, in the first 10 minutes of the movie. He does not give her a shout out. He actually chooses that time to reference like a hot tub or
in the locker room, some machine that would help him recuperate.
Yeah, some automatic massager. Or I can't remember what exactly it was. But she has that moment of hesitation, too, where she kind of, like, picks up his letter jacket and then kind of, like, disregards it.
Tosses it. Mm-hmm.
It's weird. And we don't get phone calls with them, right? We don't get her laying on the bed and having him tell her, can't wait to see you, blah, blah, blah. And we also don't get any kind of, like, interstitial stuff where we see Bobby being a degenerate in Iowa.
Right. Running around at college, yeah.
When we do see him, he is, bit of a shithead, but
he calls her a prostitute.
Yep.
Yeah. He yells, and it's the only time. And the one thing he says after he didn't call her, he ghosted her, essentially. That word didn't exist yet, but he ghosts her. He comes back. The first thing he says,
doesn't tell her he's coming back either.
Just shows up and then yells that she's a prostitute. So, Bobby, get it together, dude.
Bubba Wallace here from 2311 Racing. Funny thing about being fast, you end up waiting a lot. First to show up, first in line, then just waiting. Me, I rev up Chumba Casino. With over 200 social casino games, no slow lanes here. Why sit around when you can spin? I'm already racing. Your turn. Play for free at ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
I don't think we're meant to believe that she's hung up on him at all, though.
She's hung up at the idea of him because, as is stressed over and over, popularity takes work. It's hard work. So actually, Sean, if you think about it, my assessment of the movie is correct. It was just reversed. It does take hard work to get what you want. Because being popular is hard work. It's hard.
And it's incessant too, right? Like you cannot
continue.
You have to feed the monster.
She has to one up herself every time, which is why she gets that sweet dress, and why then Patrick Dempsey has to keep dating all of the girls. It is the machine. They are caught in a system. So really it is a commentary on our system. So I did it. I actually was able to bring this around to a redemption.
You're giving this an awful lot of credit.
Way more than it deserves. Way
Yes,
more
absolutely.
than when I was watching it. Oh no. I feel like it really wanted to be earnest. Like it was so trying to be this earnest movie. Look at this commentary. And half the acting, there's two different movies. There's like the Patrick Dempsey, Amanda Peterson, and the friend. Like they're in a different movie than our jocks. And their movie is way more heartfelt or deeply angsty, whereas the other ones are just farting in the back
Seth
of
Green's face.
Yes, poor Seth Green.
What a very strange side
Two
plot
times.
that is, though.
It was a plot device the second time. He figured out that's how it's plot. Farts' plot is okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But also just the slinking brother showing up in, I believe, like a scene in which he's getting to second base. Like there's Seth Green in the back overhearing his brother maybe get some. I mean, it's a strange thing for a brother who, like, obviously they don't get along to be following him this much.
So this is a weird side note, but Seth Green was kind of hazed on the set of Pump Up the Volume, which we didn't talk about in that episode.
Of which he's barely in.
But he was kind of like, there were cast members who created a fictional girl who was going to the high school that they were shooting at up in Santa Clarita or Saugus. And they kept writing these fake love letters to Seth Green. And I wonder if it's not because the only thing they would have seen him in was not Radio Days, but was this. And so they were hazing him because he's the, shitheel little brother in this. Weird stuff.
Just goes to show you how well Hollywood treats young people. It just continues on this narrative of how well we all do at making sure young people are okay.
And that was probably a union production.
Oh, sure.
Pump Up the Volume would have been,
Yeah,
I assume.
Union doesn't mean that they get out all the all the assholes.
Nope.
Just means
been
they
on
get
plenty
paid
of
more.
union. Been on plenty of union gigs.
Yeah.
So you felt like this took place in Beverly Hills or some swanky LA enclave. Were you shocked by the Tucson of it all?
Yeah, I was. But I don't remember that I had said it was Beverly Hills, because like I said, as I watched it, I went, oh, right. So I just assumed I had told you Tucson or some desert. I knew it was a desert town, and it now makes much more sense. And I probably just mashed it together with Beverly Hills 90210, which was also around that time a very aspirational place for a young tween with a lot of older men playing high school kids.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's a staple. Yeah. I think in your defense, the cabriolet with the roll bar and the white suede outfit are both kind of very Beverly Hills. I think that would dominate my thinking as well, because those things are staples kind of Cindy's popularity.
I think of the suede as being
life.
Arizona.
Suede is Arizona?
I feel like any leather is Arizona.
With the desert heat, suede is a
sure.
good choice.
It's a winter outfit.
Oh, a winter look, right. It's winter white. No, this is summer. This was summer.
Did you adjust for inflation there on her?
I did. It's
good, please.
The outfit would cost today, 3 days ago, $2,761.35.
Is that Hermes? Is it like a Louis Vuitton? Do we got some
It
Prada
sure didn't
going
look
on
like
there?
it when they went to the store.
No, not that store. That store was like the bargain basement store. He's like, I can't
And then
give
they
it to
sell
you
that
for
one
free.
outfit that's $1,000.
With the handwritten on your Sharpie, above it, cut out $1,000.
Art department failed there.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like a dimly lit dry cleaners.
Yeah.
Kind of when she walked in there. And I think, I don't know, there was part of me that just thought the casting of that clerk may have been a little too intentional. Besides being kind of a very hammy, eye-rolly performer, we definitely get the implication that clerk is gay.
Oh.
His mannerisms, they're very fey, right? I think if we cast if we cast her mom's boyfriend in that role, then there's an implication of like, I'll do anything. I'll work late. I'll come in on weekends. You have to, blah, blah, blah. And he just says, it's not that bad. Like, that's his, like, you're going to be fine. It's not that. That's the only thing he really says.
Yeah.
I did see a little bit of like a strange performance too with the telescope salesman.
That guy was desperate to sell that thing. He didn't want him to leave.
Or desperate for more interactions with Patrick Dempsey. He is like got his entire heart invested in that sale.
He probably works on commission, which in the telescope business...
At the fucking mall? He's working like... Who works on commission at a telescope place at the mall?
This is the 80s, Sean. This is the height of Reaganomics.
You are giving so much more credit to subtlety of LGBTQ representation in 1980s movies than I think was actually happening. Like, you are imagining that, oh, we're going to do this really subtle sort of plot line or these little hints. No, they would have had him in Hank Azaria and Birdcage. Like, if they were going to go that way, it would have been full on. Because if they're okay having Rock, then let's really skewer. Like, I don't feel like, I mean, I hear you, Sean, and I totally am on board that they cast someone who wasn't lecherous. But to think that, like, they were like, oh yeah, we'll make him like subtly homosexual is gonna be anything that those people are thinking about at that moment in time.
I need to remind myself that this is a movie that returns to the gag of farting in a child's face.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just need to write that down.
Yeah, this isn't pump up the volume.
Put a Post-it note on there that says, there's farting in faces.
For a joke, there's a guy eating cake mix raw.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that?
I don't. Yeah. Like, first the egg, okay, like maybe
Sure,
Rocky-style protein building. But to open up a box of cake mix.
He was making a cake in his belly.
There's an actor, of course, that has gone to that. As I was told once by Dominic Chianese, guy who played Junior Soprano, you should be so lucky to be typecast because of the work that it gets you. That actor, I don't know if Josh has his name.
Eric Bruscotter.
Perfect name for that. That bastard. He has showed up so many times in that pivotal role as like idiot, usually bigoted, or like he's the one who starts a fight with Bruce Lee in Dragon the Bruce Lee Story. I believe they just call him Rube in Major League 2.
What do you think his name in Glee was?
Was he in Glee?
How
4 episodes.
Glee.
He's probably he's a grown-up.
Doug Smash'em.
Cooter.
Yeah.
That's right. He was Cooter.
Cooter Menkins.
Oh, man. He's in everything.
Kennedy, did you clock the other jock football player in this movie?
The third one?
Yeah.
The Latino one?
Of who he is?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
No. Who is he?
Oh, my goodness.
I was going to do a deep dive, and then I decided I'd rather let the two of you feel smart. So please tell me.
Rico Suave.
No.
Rico.
That's Gerardo. Yeah.
Gosh.
Suave.
No. I was like, oh, he's really
Gerardo
cute.
Mejia.
His star is about to transcend.
In 91, he has a number 7 hit and like huge hit for the year.
He gets more popular on a national stage than Patrick Dempsey in a couple years.
Yeah. Good for some Rico Suave. Maybe there was, he had some inspiration being that jock and having to do that. I remember he was the one who really, I felt like he was the good guy. Like of all the jocks, he was the one, because he came around sooner of saying, hey, let's maybe not be jerks, but not enough to really make a difference.
No,
but...
he's also like preying on one of the early scenes, one of the underclassmen cheerleaders.
Oh, for sure. I'm not saying that they're complex characters, okay? They have multiple objectives.
But we're at least meant to believe he's a minor.
Right.
Yeah.
They're minors, like, it's just he's a senior hitting on, like, a sophomore or whatever. Like, that's not nearly as bad as Rock.
They come around to Ronald, of course. We should kind of get back to the plot of this movie.
Sure.
They come around to Ronald in his popularity, and they also abandon him just as quickly, of course. But he is the one who begins, like the blonde guy, jock. He's the one that begins the slow clap.
Big John.
Oh, that's my favorite. That slow clap.
The slow clap that fixes the problems in the
Everything.
school.
Yeah.
Everything is fixed by a slow clap.
Also, when Ronald gives his great speech there at the end about, fixing class structures and divides, he's holding a bat, of which he has just smashed several trays of food to bits, very close to children's heads.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of loses a little bit of the morality, I guess, of a speech to unite the school.
Because he just destroyed lunches?
When you have a weapon.
Sure, yeah.
But the teachers don't come to intervene.
That's
which
so great.
Means
I'm glad that you clocked that.
Oh, that's my favorite part, where he's like, no.
No. And obviously, that guy had some trouble with dialogue. It felt like being cast as the science teacher. Felt like he was kind of stumbling through a lot of his, I don't know. He was like poor man's Eric LaSalle in many ways. But yeah, he does give the cautionary, I think those were really the only two teachers, but he holds back the older woman, of which Ronald had previously poured his heart into.
Yeah.
She doesn't wash her hands after going to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's true.
She's got bigger things to deal with at that point.
Did she pull him out of there by his ear, too?
With her...
Dirty hand.
Yep.
Yeah. She was going to come after him again. And I think that hold on could go one of two ways, which is why I bring it up around the bat. It could be, no, this boy is going to fix everything.
Fix the school.
Right? He's going to fix the school, so let's let him do
Maybe
it.
America.
Or it could be, no, let's let him bash that kid's brains in because I don't like that kid.
Nobody likes that kid.
It could also be, no, don't worry. That boy could barely lift that bat. There's no harm he can do beyond making that milk carton explode. Which the first time I watched it thought was the bat shattering. And I had to watch it again to know, oh, no, that was food. I was like, holy cow, that's a very strong smash.
There are a lot of kids at that table who did not deserve that.
Also probably weren't getting paid, as we remember. We're non-union.
Let's talk just for a second, too. I mean, I was going to say this for later, but how awful, and Canedy, we can put the screenwriters here on blast, but the director allowed this to happen. The big girl coming to Ronald. How brutal that scene is, and of which she says, you could have had me for
$49.99.
$49.99, not even $50.
Nope. Well, with tax, I guess.
Yeah, who knows what was going on in Arizona in the 80s, but what an awful moment. And I don't know if your daughter was unlucky enough to be in the room during that scene, but played for comedic effect. It's a really awful scene. And then, of course, three of us having been on productions, two of us having been actors, what the casting is on something like that.
Yeah. It's, these days, if something happens in a movie that we don't like and my daughter's around, my husband and I, we can't even stop ourselves. We actively boo. We go, boo! Just to signal to her that, whatever we are watching right now is not okay, and we'll unpack it later. But for right now, just know this is a boo. And I was so booing that moment. And I remember, right? Because that was another one of those moments I'm like, this happened. And I'm pretty sure I laughed at it or didn't not laugh at it, right? Didn't go, clock it is something that was not okay. Right. But they do that in every movie. I mean, let's just list the number of movies where women who did not fit whatever that Cindy Mancini look was the butt of a joke, and a joke like that, right? Where they had to deliver the joke themselves and we all laughed. So, I mean, yes, we could unpack it, but it's also just terribly shot. It was like The View. It could have been cut. We could have cut that and nothing would have been lost.
And not someone, not to be too hypercritical here, but not somebody that they're casting for their performance, right? They're casting this poor girl for her size as the butt of a joke. And she is now, the joke is that he is so low. He has been so embarrassed by the scandal being exposed that a large high school girl, a minor, can come up to him and say, even I can make fun of you.
Yep. By making fun of myself.
By making fun of myself.
By degrading myself, I can make fun of you, and everyone's going to laugh, and we're all going to have a good time. And I'm pretty sure she also slow clapped. I think she would in the cutaway to the nerd tables where his two other poker playing friends were, who, by the way, the one in the green shirt, probably my favorite actor in that entire thing with those glasses. Oh my gosh, the third friend, love that one. Oh man, he was great.
I like how when Ronald left the group, they acquired a token black friend, which I don't think we saw prior to that scene.
And then not after either. He was just to show, like, see, you can be replaced. But I'm pretty sure she's in that slow clap. So she was already over, if memory serves, but maybe it was another one. She's like right in the front. I could be wrong. Again, it could be just static in front of my face whenever anything that I watch is like. But it does bring me just a quick note. This is not plot necessarily. So I'm watching it with my daughter, and she's coming at this from a Gen Z perspective, right? She's got some pretty good critical thinking skills there. And she's watching the same movie and a very different movie than me. So she was in the airplane graveyard scene. The only thing she kept telling me is, are they going to get caught? When are the police coming to get them out of this graveyard, like this airport? She could not pay attention to any of the scene because she was so afraid or so worried for them that the police were going to come because they were trespassing. And throughout the movie, she's watching it just with a very different eye. She wasn't going in for this romance. And although she did think Patrick Dempsey's face was cute, but his body was scrawny. So take that as you will from this girl. But she wasn't on the same ride that I remember being on when I was her age, which was very, really made me feel much better as a mom. And that maybe we've moved forward a bit.
Did you call your mom after this and read her the
and ask her
act?
what the, I was like, what the hell, Mom? What the actual hell were you doing letting me watch this movie? I think they all go back and go, I don't know. We didn't wear seatbelts. She's like, it was a different time. We didn't know. Like, we didn't know these things. It's like ignorance. The ignorance of exposure.
Yeah, like how would your mom have reacted to the truth that you've sold the glow of your popularity for whatever the suede outfit value? Because I'm wondering like how Cindy's mom...
$2,700.
$2,700 outfit.
Yeah.
Does Cindy's mom ever kind of get the knowledge about this, or we leave that out of this movie?
She has the scene where she comes around and she takes her and she comforts her. Mm-hmm. Remember there's like that one scene where she's
after
like, oh honey.
She tells her that she and Rock have broken up.
Yeah. And they go and like are comforted together, and she's sort of helping her feel better, lies for her on the phone when Ronald is calling. So I don't know if she knows the full extent of what happened, but I feel like she'd be a mom that might be okay, like understand and then and be there for her daughter no matter what it was at the end of the day. I don't know. Again, character development in this movie is quick. It has to do with music, so...
Did you still read them as being rich?
That's a good question. I just assumed. She has her credit cards, right? She goes on that shopping spree with the credit cards, the mom's credit cards.
Yeah, in a back-to-school sort of way.
Right, where after they've... Like, this is after they went to the first day of school and he's ripped given him the transformation. She takes him shopping.
Oh, she takes him shopping.
She gives him his...
Right, so there's the back to school, but then there's also the one with Ronald where...
His glow up.
Mm-hmm. Where his hair looks a lot like yours.
But with his glow up, are they using her money?
It looks
I think they're using the mom's. Yeah, because she holds it. She's like, this is on me. Like, there's numerous times that she's like, this is on me, holding up the credit card. Now, whether they're in massive amounts of debt and the mom is just like barely holding on, we don't go into, but she does have a white, how do you pronounce it, Sean?
Is it
cabriolet?
Cabriolet.
However you say... Yeah, I did. What is it? Cabriolet?
I say cabriolet, but it's tomato. I have no idea. Now that you said it that way.
I say cabriolet, but when they changed it and had the Pink Moon ad, I would say cabrio then.
Oh, a cabrio.
So
I don't know.
All right.
Well, this is important. This is germane to the conversation. faux show.
But yeah, they dropped the lay at a certain point, and they had that Pink Moon ad that brought Nick Drake back, and it was the Cabrillo then. So I don't know.
I'm sure he would have loved it. I'm sure poor Nick Drake was like from the grave, like, this is what I want my.
I mean, his estate started making a lot of money because
his
of
estate.
They did.
Sure.
I mean,
absolutely.
Who
Nick
knows
Drake
what
himself.
Nick would have been like doing at that point? Yes, we do know, but we don't know. Anyway, so she had a good car. They were able to have a lawn boy do their lawn, and she doesn't seem to worry much. The mom doesn't seem to be the way that they represent working class parents at that point, which is much more stressed and aggressive. Like, she seems pretty.
But at the same time, she would be very bent out of shape over this outfit.
Was it because of the money or because she had told her no?
I don't know. And I think that having the lawn boy is more of a byproduct of it being a house of two women.
Oh, you think that this is more of like a patriarchy kind of like,
yeah.
I need
And
a guy.
it's also, her car's a cabriolet. It's not like a super nice car.
Oh, cabriolets were the jam back in the day.
I mean, it's an okay car. But it's not like she's driving around. A status symbol would be if she was driving around in a Beamer convertible or something. Yeah.
Well, I guess she's better off than Ronald, because Ronald drives around in his dad's tic-tac-toe tile company.
Or on his 10-speed. Yeah.
Right, and he has to mow lawns to get what she can seem to get pretty easy. And I think that it really is because she went against her mom and she doesn't want to get in trouble and she doesn't want to be grounded. And also because it's the main plot. So to unpack it too much makes us see holes I don't want to see.
Pull the strings and the whole thing falls apart, yeah.
I don't want to see what's behind the curtain. I just want to live in this fantasy world where Patrick Dempsey wears those outfits and can be super cool.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather, now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
And steals her poem to make out with the girl in the toilet.
Yeah, that was fucked up.
Yeah.
That really was an unfortunate. Like, I understand devices of needing to get a guy to rock bottom and understand why she might be pushed to reveal this secret, but that
real heel turn.
That's almost irredeemable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although he does then lay in a burlap sack on New Year's Eve with that sad music.
It was fucking cold.
And he's crying.
Tucson, yeah, his like Charlie Brown moment of sadness.
That rock bottom was amazing. That is the acting that I love so much in this. It's the same with You Shit on My House. Like, that scene, that is a gem of a scene. You shit on my house. Do you know how hard this is on me? You shit on my house. You shit on my house. Like, oh, such good acting. Again, different movie. Different movie.
Yeah, different movie. This movie almost doesn't deserve that scene.
Yeah.
No.
And we haven't really talked about Kenneth here, played by Courtney Gaines, the redhead. Mm-hmm. But, like, that scene of which he finds that Ronald has betrayed him at the most egregious and has done the Halloween pranks of throwing a shit bomb. Like, not even being complicit, but the one who actually throws the dog crap sack at the door and then lets him go, right? It's almost like, in that moment, I thought of Braveheart, in which... And this, outside of being 16 years old, I don't think too much about Braveheart, but there is the scene in which Mel Gibson as William Wallace reveals that Robert the Bruce has betrayed them. I believe at Falkirk, but he takes the helmet and the visor off of this guy. He's about to kill him, and he realizes that basically the King of Scotland is now working against him and has been complicit in the loss. The English victory there. That confrontation at the arcade is probably the best dramatic scene in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's the realest, right?
What game was he playing, Sean?
I think he was playing Hang On, It was a motorcycle game from Sega.
Yeah, it's the motorcycle one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
While I was watching it,
I knew I wouldn't have to look that up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Hang On. It could have been a sequel to Hang On, but it was a stand-up. Sometimes the Sega version, you'd go to the arcade and you would get on the actual bike.
That's later.
Yeah, but this was during that moment. We cut to actually a shot of his gameplay, and he's riding off road, and I'm like, "You're gonna get hit by a tree. You're gonna get hit by a tree." And so some of the blow up is right after his characters, quote unquote, died. But it is a really good scene because we're finally confronting Ronald from his friends and not from the popular kids that feel betrayed. And they never really blow up at him outside of Cindy. They never really excoriate Ronald. They just go back to
ghost him. They just totally push him in the you're invisible. You know, I think the Kenneth story arc is the most developed, that unfolds in the most satisfying way of all of them, except for his, because like he's the friend and you understand his motivation. He's really clear about how he feels. Like, no, we can't, everybody wants Cindy Mancini and there's no way you're going to get her, right? Like he's the deliverer of the obstacles. And then he is the one who gets ghosted, right? So he's the person that if you're the other nerd, right, which is how I'm watching, I'm identifying with Kenneth, like, oh, I know what that's like when your friend abandons you for the popular kids. Spoiler alert, I should have put this in my description. I was not in the popular crowd. I know that's shocking looking at me now, but I was a nerd. And so I really could watch, like, so Kenneth, and then he kind of, you know, is mad at Ronald, and they have the whole poker, and then he gets the shit thrown at his house, and he makes the decision to let his friend go. Then they have their big blow up, and then he gives the ultimate line of forgiveness, which is, look, he made it farther than any of us ever could.
It's awful.
I mean, his justification for coming around to the other side is pretty exquisite in a 80s sort of, let's just put a bow on this and now I'm okay. And then he does it, right? But he does it in a way that is justified, right? He does it by being himself, which is what Patrick Dempsey says at the end, right? He's like, Kenneth did it the right way. So Kenneth becomes like our hero in that, no, Kenneth did it. He broke that glass ceiling and he did it with his smarts. Really, no, he did it because he wanted to sleep with her for sure. But he figured out a way to do it that didn't require prostitution or escort or anything.
We're talking about tutoring one of Cindy's friends.
Yes. So he tutors her for the science test. So I think Kenneth, like, his arc was a pretty satisfying arc considering that he's not even the main character in this whole thing. I'm like, yeah, Kenneth, okay, I get it. I'm with you on this whole journey of rejection.
Yeah, I mean, until that kind of weird qualification at the lunch table, he stays true to himself pretty much the whole movie, right? It's a little weird that we don't have the kind of the big blow-up scene in the hallway the next day after the Halloween prank. Yeah. He just kind of disregards Ronald.
I mean, it's not fully fleshed out, but for the amount of screen time that character has to be able to have such a full arc when we're still kind of wondering what people who were there for the entire movie, like what they were doing. I think it's, you know, I'm on Team Kenneth. Not really. I don't want to unpack that. I didn't really think about that too much, so I'm gonna rescind. I'm not on anybody's team.
Now, throwing to the next clip, we asked what memories stuck out the most to you about your history with this film?
I'm laughing because it really was so wanting to be her and so wanting someone like Patrick Dempsey's character to fall in love with me. I would say that's almost every movie of that time that I watched. It was like John Cusack, right? Like, I'd be like, oh, I want to be this character so that a Lloyd Dobler will fall in love with me.
Sure.
You know,
were you valedictorian then?
Yeah.
Were you?
I would say
Nice.
that character in...
Yeah, you're Diane Court?
Yeah.
Okay. But your parents didn't go away They didn't get shipped upriver?
No.
Terrified of flying.
Yeah. No, a lot of things I'm not. I'm not her, but I could, if you were going to put me in a category, it would be her. It'd be Sloane in Ferris Bueller. It's kind of those, it's sort of where I live. I don't live in the blonde, white, suede world.
Did you find a kickboxer to date?
I have, you know what? If we're going to go down the dating path, we're going to need to extend. I have dated them all. I've dated them all.
All right.
So,
Sweet.
and I have settled on a nice Dutch man who is nothing like any character I ever saw in a movie, and it's probably for the best.
So, was being the Sloane or Diane Court something it took you a while to figure out?
That's who I was?
Yeah.
I mean, how many hundreds of dollars in therapy did it come to get to that point?
Hundreds?
Oh, only hundreds. It was just like a couple.
Okay.
Wow, good for you.
A couple sessions that we got to Diane Court, and then we went deeper than Diane Court. No, I think it was that I finally accepted the fact that I was more of a Diane Court. I watched Say Anything later, much later. So I was a little older when I watched Say Anything. And I think at that point I was like, oh, I'm the really smart girl who fits in but doesn't really fit in. Oh, okay, I see myself in her more so than I saw in a lot of the other. And the same with Sarah in Labyrinth. Like, sort of, those were, maybe because I also looked like me. I don't know. It could just be very superficial. I was like, oh, I look like a young Jennifer Connelly. Cool. That must be me. As opposed to digging deeper into, like, self-reflection. But I absolutely was not Cindy Mancini or any of her friends at any point, even though I'm sure a part of me would have loved to.
Does grown-up Canedy wish she lived in the blonde suede world?
Oof, that is a fraught question, Josh. That is fraught because if I say no, then maybe I'm lying. And if I say yes, then maybe I've totally bought into white privilege as like the coolest thing ever, right? Okay, so it is, I think that is a struggle because when you are 11 and that is what everyone is looking towards, right? I want to be Cindy Mancini and everything is saying, this is what's cool. This is the popular. It's hard to separate from that in that like little piece of me, right? So that piece, sure. I would love to, in some other alternate reality, I guess I buy into that as everyone probably does. Not everyone. I will say there are people who are probably even more enlightened. But is that something I want to be right now? No. Do I actively seek that out? Absolutely not. Am I... I shop at thrift stores, but I'm an actress too. So come on, there's a piece of me that does have to make sure I look good and have the vanity of it. I operate in this world, in this system, so a piece of me probably does. Damn it.
Was the white suede outfit everything you remembered?
It covered more of her body than I remembered it covering. I don't know why I thought that bikini top was smaller than it was. I was like, oh, this is much more...
It's probably jumbling what she's wearing when she answers the door and Rock is there.
Oh my God, yes. That. Why is she in a bikini? There is no reason for the bikini in the shirt.
We need to show Rock's depravity at that moment.
Good Lord. That was a terrible moment. That I did have, I think I put in all caps in here, bikini, ! Oh no, I went, Rock, what? That's what I said. Rock, what?
We do get a lot of kind of midriff and unbuttoned shirt on Ronald as well.
Oh,
I mean, obviously a different ballgame. But Dempsey, who is very much kind of like I wouldn't even call him like a swimmer's body, but he's like a thin rail of a man in this.
My daughter called him scrawny.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole movie. She was like, he is scrawny. And not negatively so. It wasn't like ew, but it was just an observation of fact that he is very thin.
Yeah, he's very thin. There's not a lot of muscle development. Like, he has a blue-collar job. Like, there's a level of that he's capable. He jumps over whatever that concrete wall is. Like, he has a level of athleticism.
On a moving lawnmower.
He has a level of athleticism to him, but it's a body type that in a high school movie today would be completely amped up. Like, there would be physical trainers. Like, if you see high school kids, like, just to pick a random example, what's the Archie comic?
Riverdale.
Yeah.
Every high school kid on that is like, they're preparing for a role in 300.
Yeah. My daughter is watching, I'm watching it with her, parental guidance, and like I edit a lot of the scenes, but she's really into Outer Banks. And I will tell you, those men on that show are ripped. Even the skinny ones are ripped, and they are without their shirts for a good portion of the time. So it's not like
you
a
would
lot
be
has...
if you were in the Outer Banks. Like...
Right. I mean, it makes much more sense, right? Of course. Duh. There's a lot more character development. I do remember there was another underwear scene where I went, what, with exclamation points. And that's after the anteater scene where the girls are all in the locker room and they're all in their lace underwear. Ugh. That's all I can say about that. Ugh.
Many of whom are minors. There's the pool party, too.
Oh, yeah. I totally blocked that one out.
The locker room scene also is a moment where Cindy overhears them kind of talking about Ronald, I think with the impression that they don't know that Cindy's there.
Mm-hmm.
I think at that point, he has moved on from Cindy. He's with somebody else.
Yep.
He's gone on the date with the first one. With
Okay.
The one who ends up, she was Kelly Bundy in the pilot.
The tall one. The tall
Yep.
The tall brunette. Okay.
Yep. I was going to say that to go back to do I think I'm a Sloane or a...
Diane Court.
Or Diane Court. I think I am closer to them, but I'm still not as cool as Sloane. I don't think anyone will ever be as cool as Mia Sara in that. Like, that is the pinnacle of, like, ultimate cool. So, no, I do not think I'm a Sloane. Probably more of a Diane Court after she's chilled out a good amount, but probably... Yeah,
after she's gone to the party and has hung out with Lloyd Dobler's son.
Yes, and, like, has released a lot of the tension that she carries in her life of expectation of perfection. I'm hoping that that's probably where I'm right now. But I did want to say, like, Patrick Dempsey, he is so sensitive in this movie, and that reinforces this idea of, like, the Lloyd Dobler. I forgot how much he cries in this movie. Like, he cries throughout the whole thing, and, like, when he's sharing his heart with her, he's sobbing. And I think that was really attractive, this idea of a guy who was so emotionally accessible at that age, even though it's totally melodramatic and completely inappropriate for the movie itself. As a kid, I was like, oh, look at him cry. So I, of course, as I said, I married a Dutch man who that is not necessarily their go-to. So clearly I kind of realized that crying does not a emotionally mature man make necessarily, or emotionally accessible man. But at that point, that was like the direct line between sort of a jerk with someone who couldn't do that and a nice guy with someone who could cry. So,
does adult Canedy wish that 20-year-old Patrick Dempsey would fall in love with her?
No, because he's so scrawny. No, he would annoy the crap out of me.
Did his scrawniness play entirely differently to you now? Like, was that
He looked like a little boy. And when I was maybe 20, not 20 years younger, but younger, I would have been like, oh, cute, let's, young boy, fun, of age, right? 21-year-old, cool. Now, absolutely not. I feel like I would want to take him under my wing and, like, cook him a meal, have him come over, like, just, like, talk to him and say, what's going on in your life? Be much more like a mom figure for him. Now, Patrick Dempsey today, hell yeah.
He's filled out.
Woo!
Yeah, he's built like a man now.
Always.
Yeah.
Like, yes, thoroughly through, had the trajectory of growing into a very attractive man as well. But as me right now, no way. And also that character is very annoying. Like, he is annoying, he is shallow, he wears his clothes, holy smokes.
He has so many bad hats.
That cowboy hat at the end, my daughter was like, why is he wearing a cowboy hat? I'm like, we can't.
I think the hat at the beginning is like
he's a pith helmet.
Yeah, it's a pith helmet.
Yeah?
It's a British explorer.
And then he has like a little beanie and he's like a backwards, I don't know who was putting
He has the
hats on his
Kangol.
head. Yeah. someone was putting hats on his head thinking that was a good idea. All of those outfits, it makes me want to go Halloween as Cindy and Ronald just because those outfits are so delicious. Although her outfit, I'm not going to lie, the outfit that she wears at the end, like her other outfits, like the high-waisted balloon pants and the oversized jackets, I do wear that. I will admit that that is a key part of my wardrobe right now.
You'll cop to that?
I will. Okay. I can show you pictures. Maybe not cinched at the bottom. Maybe not the full-on balloon pant with the boot. But no, there's some high-waisted, as much fabric as possible, and oversized coats with vests. Definitely rocking that these days.
So throwing to the last clip, we asked you what expectations you had for your return to Can't Buy Me Love.
Oh, I'm so excited to watch this movie again. It is truly one I have not seen since probably I was 10 or 11. And I am looking forward to seeing just how adorable Patrick Dempsey actually is, if it translates. I'm excited for the nostalgia of seeing what I want it to be, like how, if that sort of attraction is still there to being that girl. I'm very curious to see what happens in the second act. I do feel like there's going to be some questionable material when it comes to gender, when it comes to female empowerment. I don't know. Every movie we've gone back to watch with my daughter from the 80s, my husband and I have to literally yell at times. We're like, don't watch, ha ha, and dance in front of the TV because we're like, oh dear, this is really, they don't age well.
We haven't come across that on the podcast yet.
No, never? That's weird.
No,
it's constant.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Every fucking movie.
Hashtag nailed it.
Yeah. So, how adorable was 20-year-old Patrick Dempsey? Did it translate to today?
He is adorable. Yes, but I think it was adorable in the memory. Again, as I talk about remembering how 11-year-old Canedy saw him. Not as me now, looking at him saying, oh, what an adorable boy that I'd like. No, but as the other side of it, looking at him, yes, he was adorable. And, as I've said before, my daughter did say, oh, he's got a cute face. She gave him that. And I went, what about the hair? I was like, I thought his hair was really cute. She's like, yeah, not when he slicks it back in that shellac helmet.
That's so weird when he does that too. Because he has great hair. He does.
Yeah.
A lot of body, good, natural wave to it.
Sean, he's got hair like you.
I know. Mine is getting a little bit more salt and pepper, so I'm catching up to McDreamy here.
You are.
I don't know women's hair enough to know what Cindy does with her hair. You said it was curly. I couldn't tell if has natural curls or if there was a lot of work that went into that. But I have a question for present-day Canedy who has seen this, which is, at what point is Ronald the worst? Is it reading Cindy's poetry to
Iris?
I'm using air quotes here, slut of the school, Iris, while feeling her up? Or is there a worse low point for him?
That is a very good question. I'd say there are two for me right now. And I'm sure I could sit and watch the movie again and say pretty much from the minute he gets his hair mussed up and the arms ripped off of his shirt, he's pretty much a shitbag. I'll say that word because you watch him just descend into a really douchebaggery place. He's a shitbag. He's a douchebag. I'll say it. I'm going to curse twice. My daughter will be okay with that. He does terrible behavior pretty much throughout, especially after he and Cindy break up. He gets just bitten by that bug. But I would say...
The breakup is really shitty of him, too.
Oh,
the
it's
breakup
horrible.
is really weird, right? It almost feels like they're having two different conversations and he can't pick up on it.
Yeah.
Of her not wanting to break up that way and him making a spectacle of it. Again, being dense, not knowing women. He doesn't pick up on that cue. He doesn't pick up on anything that's going on with her face in that moment as well.
accusing her of being too expensive.
Right.
As a girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. You're bleeding me dry.
Which her friends would know that most of her day-to-day not working is spending her mother's money and charging credit cards.
Right. So he is tapping into maybe something there, but it's also a pretty misogynist.
Right. And this is the kid that mows lawns, that they all know mows lawns.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very strange scene. I think, though, that the descent of Patrick Dempsey in this movie, I feel like is maybe, for me, best embodied by the refusal of Cindy when she likes him.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird. And I think this is my big kind of overarching issue with the movie, is that he covets Cindy. He is in love with Cindy from the beginning. He stalks her. He goes to her cheerleading practice. He has eyes for Cindy. He's the one who follows her into the store through the telescope. He is enamored with this girl. And I think the movie would have been more successful if she was just the most popular girl. If she was just the most popular girl in school and he knows what he can get off of her, I think that the premise would be sound and his logic would be sound. But when there's a couple times, not even just the telescope post, where he shows her the moon through his makeshift telescope and the airplane graveyard, but also she shares her poetry with him. He tells her the very kind of George McFly, if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. He gives her self-confidence. He appreciates her poetry, of which she couldn't share with her cool friends. And then at the locker, she's kind of asks him out. She does ask him out. And he has eyes only for who they all say is the sluttiest girl at school, who sleeps with everybody. I don't see how the girl that you are in love with and the girl that you covet in front of you asking you out after all this has been said and done. He doesn't see that, and the screenwriters don't make it a point of him seeing that, if he has coveted her from the beginning.
Right.
I think the plot is more sound if he acknowledges, and with Kenneth, his red-haired friend, that she is just the most popular girl at school, but he doesn't love her.
Thank you. That was so astute, Sean. You're so smart. And that sounded maybe like I was being sarcastic, but I wasn't. Because the earnestness, it's two different films. Right. There's this earnest love, quote unquote, love story, right? Where they're all acting and it's a relationship drama almost with Kenneth and him and her. And, it has the three descriptive words in the bottom and one of them is transformative. And I think that was what they were trying to go with this relationship. But then there's this comedy, which could have been a great satire about popularity. Right, about how easy it is to step into and fool people. And I feel like those two movies were happening at the same time in the same movie, and they did not do a good job of marrying the two.
Do you know why that probably happened?
Because it was non-union?
No. This was originally conceived as a raunchy comedy.
It was Boy Rents Girl, right?
Then Touchstone came in, and Touchstone's, Disney's. So Touchstone wanted this to be more of a teen rom-com, and so then changes were made. So I think that's why we're kind of seeing two different movies here.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And that is the story of so many movies, right? There's the idea of what it is, and then you dilute it to fit all these other expectations. Just like life. It is just like this movie is just like life. Okay, done. I did it.
And not to say that it would have been a better movie had it stuck to of the raunchy comedy skeleton of which it was probably incepted. We'd get a lot more of jock farts in kid's face kind of jokes.
Which is what we all want.
But it would be more...
For sure.
It would be more honest in a way, and it would be less compromised in that you're right, Canedy. This movie is still trying to say so much and still trying to be this statement movie. And the statement that we're trying to get past is so kind of innately fractured with two screenplays jumbled into one and not having a clear voice pretty much in every scene except for, I'll go back to it, the Kenneth, you shit on my house.
You shit on my house.
Which is, I think, the only scene in which I'm really like, oh, okay, like this plays and this is real.
Did you still want to be Cindy?
But it doesn't in that movie.
It doesn't in that movie.
It doesn't in the movie. In the movie, you're like, what the hell is happening right now? Because they've just farted. Like, again, we're going back to farts and pretending they're wine connoisseurs. And then you have these really earnest, these actors really trying to have a moment. And all of them. And again, Amanda Peters, she's great in it. Like, she's in a different movie than her friends, right? Yeah. They're in different movies.
She's in a better movie.
She is.
She's in a better movie, and she's, again, like, very good at 15. Like, Josh and I have seen some 15-year-olds ruin movies.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. No, she's great. And so in that regard, I don't feel bad that I wanted to be Cindy Mancini. I'd much rather be Cindy Mancini. I go to your question that you were posing. I'd much rather be her, as far as, like, she had depth. She had a journey, right? I mean, within this movie, as much as we can, like, figure out the Legend of Zelda beep, beep, beeping, that was the original as opposed to now, right? Yeah. Like, oh, in that version, in that pixelated version, here's the journey. And she's the one that really comes around. He gets run over by a popularity truck. He comes around because his ego was smashed. He doesn't come around because he loves her. I mean, he kind of does, right? He kind of realizes it. But it's only because everybody rejects him and he ends up sleeping on a burlap sack. Cindy comes around because she's like, oh, well, I guess he does have the you shit on my house. So I guess he does have some realizations of how bad he was. But she kind of comes around a little earlier in what feels like, okay, she's got some depth. She is figuring stuff out. So in that regard, Cindy Mancini, as I remember her, was way shallower than I can't believe I'm going to say this after tearing this movie apart for almost 2 hours. I'm going to say that, like, she actually had more depth than I remember her having. And that's probably why I do remember her, why she did stick with me more than maybe some of the other leads, because she like dumps the malt on that college dude's Porsche, right? She finally,
to be fair, it was not extra thick.
Right. Well, yeah, he needed an extra thick.
He had specifically requested. Very strange to, like, have that poor man's River Phoenix be as shitty as he was.
He was like the kid in Hocus Pocus. He was the bad guy in Hocus Pocus. Like, was like, my daughter was like, he looks like the bad, the two dudes in Hocus Pocus. But yes, and a poor man's River Phoenix, for sure. Continue. I don't mean to interrupt.
But, as he's buffing his car out, I was like, and she does the milkshake dump, which is like, you kind of have to have that on your bingo card when you're watching an 80s movie of a drink being poured on somebody.
So we had 2.
Yeah, but I was like, yeah, I'd go back and complain too if that was my milkshake. It's basically chocolate milk.
Well, give it, you're right. You're right. She should have gotten extra thick.
Did you feel like females were empowered?
Well, that is a fraught and complicated question in the 80s, like, given the entire genre and context. I feel like Cindy Mancini was not necessarily empowered, but I feel like she acted on her own agency in as shallow a way as we could get given this movie. Like, she's not going to be empowered in any sort of real way because there's no one in that film who's thinking in any way that could represent an enlightened or empowered woman at the end of this. But she does reject some of the things in it, right? She is struggling with what it means to be popular. Is that what she, this idea of who she is within in this larger context? She does see something deeper. She has the poetry. It doesn't go anywhere after that. But she gets out of the car and goes for Patrick Dempsey at the end, right? And that, to me, I think in the broad strokes of, like, whoa, what it means in 80s movies, maybe? Like, she goes for Ducky, which in Pretty in Pink, she doesn't go for Ducky. Right? So I guess in that, I don't know, that question is like asking, I can't even think of the analogy question that would be appropriate for me to say. except for that empowerment in an 80s movie for a woman is probably not happening if men...
Almost non-existent.
Right. If it's a non-union movie that's done by men, produced by men, written by men, like that doesn't exist. But in the little threads that you could maybe grab onto, yes?
Do you think there's a reason that you memory hold the second act?
Yeah. Because it's terrible. I think I just stopped at that white suede, man. I keep going back to it. But there was just that moment of like, oh my gosh. And he helps her. And they get together at the end. Does he though? No, he doesn't. But he does in that he gives her money, right?
Sure.
And I guess I just didn't. As I got older, it is so fraught. To say the least. And there's not a lot of funny, like the middle is so fast. I don't know why I didn't remember the anteater dance, because that, when I saw it, completely is another touchstone of my childhood, of that, the idea that this dance, and you're like, oh no, he's going to do it, and everybody, the tension of that, and then he succeeds. That was pretty impactful as a kid. I'm just surprised I couldn't remember that it was...
That this was the bleeding edge of appropriation?
Yeah. Which, as that little show went on, I was like, no! Oh, no! That was another moment of deep, deep difficulty watching and going, oh, yeah, no, I watched that and thought it was funny and thought it was an okay plot device, and that, oh, how embarrassing that he would do this African anteater dance. Like, all of that really hit to my, like, white guilt, right? Like that struck right in that part of me. So I probably did block a lot of that out because...
Question for both of you.
Yes, I have done that dance at a party.
I have not.
Recently.
I believe I actually did this part of it in an improv show on Saturday night.
The hand puppet.
Okay.
Yeah. I was trying to twerk. Which
it's
also...
the beginning of twerking, yeah.
Cultural appropriation. Continue, Sean. Ask us the question.
So, not in defense of Ronald, but did either of you...
You won't find me doing that.
Okay.
I'll defend him.
If I'm Ronald, and we get to that big reveal with Cindy, where she exposes it, am I the only one that thought, I want my $1,000 back? No, because like...
I don't think he has
sworn secret for...
If they went to people's court, he would lose.
Sworn
services were rendered.
For life or longer. It did not mean...
Yeah.
It did not mean when they first made the deal, right? This was the contract that they went into. You are my girlfriend for a few weeks, a month, for 4 lunches, no pep rally... This, that, the other thing. Oh, by the way, my name is Ronald. The last thing, this is our sworn secret between us for life or longer. At that point, she has negated the part of the deal. And I'm only speaking about the verbal contract that they've gotten into. But she has invalidated...
I think when you're angling for a BJ on the toilet...
Yeah.
Reciting her poetry aloud, you've negated any grounds that you have... towards...
Then you needed to put that in writing. Like he said,
first of all, none of it was in writing, right? None of this was a verbal agreement. So I
don't think he had
to
an
be on Josh's
case here.
Yeah, I think I got to be on Josh's team. I think they built a pretty good case to push her over the edge and be able to break that trust, in quotes.
How much strange did he get on the back of their agreement?
So much.
Yeah, but Strange wasn't what he was after. Like, Strange was ancillary.
Popularity is trying to get with these popular girls.
Right, but it was also the popularity. The popularity is now immediately invalidated. We see it within a couple seconds. Like, Iris won't go home with him. The jocks turn away from him. And there was a choice to make her drunk in that moment, right? Not only is she rebuffed by Bobby, who I believe they ADR'd every one of his scenes. I don't know if there was just...
He's actually German.
Something was going on with anything that they did for Bobby's dialogue. I don't know if he was just unable to do dialogue or if there was too much noise in that scene, that party scene.
He sounds like Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah, he might sound like Gilbert Gottfried.
What you doing, you prostitute?
You prostitute? That makes you a prostitute.
You're a prostitute.
credit the movie a little bit for not going like horror in that, which probably a movie that like
there was an alt take that he did say horror probably.
Yeah,
a movie that like as if you didn't know that this is from 1987, like had reckless use of the R word pretty much kind of throughout.
Yep.
But like if she's not drunk, if Bobby hasn't said that and like left in a huff, and he also didn't use her poetry to, I don't know, finger bang somebody in a bathroom. But again,
I have what he was angling for here. I think he's, earmuffs for the kids, but I think he's angling for a Blumpkin here, Sean.
Okay. Google that at your own peril.
Please don't. Please don't. Sorry, we have to take a moment. Just...
Should we pick up the scraps?
That's a lot of ifs. That's a lot
Why
of
not?
ifs, Sean. I'm saying that's a lot of ifs. It's like, if he didn't kill his wife, would he be on trial for murder? Like, this is a lot of ifs that you're setting up to see whether he's...
And again, not like I've gotten into this arrangement, but again, if I'm giving $2,700 for popularity lately, if I'm giving 27 adjusted for inflation dollars for popularity, and then after a month or so, it's actually, probably more than that, but it's taken away from me. It feels like that she's reneged on the deal.
She didn't take it away from him. He did a very good job of being I understand what you're saying. And yes, in the vacuum world you've created, maybe yes.
I just think that it would have been...
But I think he's such a trash dick that it doesn't matter.
Right, at that point.
I just think that it would have been a better device to make the reveal through another character, through Kenneth in the hallway, of which he's confided into, of like why you're spending all this time with these popular kids. Like maybe Kenneth is the one who, after you shit on my house, or the little brother saying something like.
Are you saying that because it takes away from her? Like because she does it, are we saying, oh, well then she also is a bad guy in this?
No, what I'm saying is that she,
villain?
Despite feeling complicated feelings about everything that's gone on, she has still held up her end of the contract, and it comes out another way. That's all I'm saying. I know that he needs to be exposed. I know that he needs to have his fall from grace. But doing it while she's drunk, for me, I don't know. I had
look,
a big reaction to
the
that.
fact that she's drunk, like there's a lot. The everything you just said to build up the what if this didn't happen and this did, like those are all the things that they decided to put for her as justification for this moment, right? And yes, could there be a better way to reveal that? Absolutely, 100%. You just pitched like 3 of 1,000.
No.
Right? But
well,
that's not, she was drunk on vodka and she was at her rock bottom, I guess. That's what it looks like for Cindy Mancini to be a rock bottom. And at rock bottom, she reveals a secret that she promised to keep from a douchebag who's been sleeping with every single woman. Like,
yeah.
By the by, popularity equals sleeping with all the girls and throwing shit at people's houses and dressing like an idiot. Like, that is what popular, and sitting on the one side.
That one outfit when he comes in with his hair greased back, my note was, he waltzes in dressed like a Pahrump casino owner. Like, he is disgusting there, and it was shocking.
Kennedy, why does she like him? Like,
no, I know.
Like after his popularity ascent.
And we're picking up the scraps, by the way. So
yes, this is all scraps.
Just throw out anything.
Yeah.
Throw out anything. But like, why do you think that she comes around back to Ronald?
Because she has to. Because he's learned his lesson.
Has he, though? I don't feel like they earned that at all.
No, I don't think they earned it. So if we're talking in real world, she doesn't, right?
So at the locker, right, when she's like, I don't know, like, let's maybe go out, and maybe
he turns her down.
He turns her down.
Mm-hmm. But then he comes at 6 a.m. He does the equivalent, as bad as that equivalent is, of in your eyes, over the head with the stereo, right? 6 a.m., waking her up, doing handstands on the lawnmower, right? And he talks about the moon, and he reminds her of who he was before all of that happened. And it's just this. Do we want to do 11-year-old version of why? 11-year-old version is like, because he's a deep thinker and really he just got lost and he's this really in heart, he's this really good guy and she sees that in him and so she's going to forgive him and bring him back because he's really cute and like he stood up for his friend and look at all these great things he did. I'll forgive all of his terrible behavior because look at what a golden heart he has, right? Like that's the 11-year-old version. And the adult version will say, because they want women to be able to forgive all of men's terrible behavior because they do a poem or they show them the moon, right?
Or they cry.
Or they cry, right? That this is reinforcing a message that, hey, you know, yeah, we could be jerks, but look at the save the cat moment, right? Like really, in our hearts, we're good. So you should forgive any abuse or anything that we've done and just take us back. Right? We just need to stand on our hands. So that's the like other part of me that would say, no. But the romantic goes, oh, he cried, he writes poetry, or he doesn't write poetry. He steals my poetry. He thinks my poetry's good enough to use to get I will not repeat what that is. And, the moon, you know, and look, he knows where the moon is. Like those that when I was a kid, I would have accepted him back.
Yeah.
I wanted her.
I think there's that like tenet of movies from this era that tell men that persistence pays off.
Mm-hmm.
And that
this
tells
era.
women, yeah. Well, it also tells women that like, if he's really persistent, if he doesn't hear no as an answer, like, hey, you're mowing my lawn in front of my home at 6 a.m. He comes back another time. Like the last scene, it's in front of her house again. Mm-hmm. And she has to do the big, like, get out of the convertible with her friends, run to his lawnmower thing. He's back at her house again.
Well, I think we're meant to believe that he's actually mowing the lawn.
He's mowing the lawn. But at the same time, good point, consent that it is.
Because he's come back around full circle and he's back to mowing lawns.
Yeah. And that borderlines on permission for stalker behavior, which I could definitely like look back in behavior that boys would do and that we would engage in. That does mimic that in a way and give permission almost to like, oh, I'm going to say no. No really means yes, right? This idea of I'm going to play hard to get, quote, any of that behavior that we all engaged in and thought was, oh, this is totally fine. And I look back and go, oh.
But did we learn it from this?
I don't know. Or if this, like, does art imitate life who knows, right? It's more just like that was pervasive in dynamics and relationship dynamics, especially cisgender, like for sure. Because we've already established that there was not a lot of any other representation, definitely not in this movie, right? In that hardcore.
Yeah, very heteronormative here.
Yes. So, of course, like, you're right, Sean, in that it's reinforcing this idea that if I just stick it out long enough, it's the every breath you take. My daughter is into the Police these days. And she was listening to Every Breath You Take, and she was really offended. She's like, this guy, he won't let up. He just, every breath. She's like, that's terrifying. But back then, that was romantic.
And Lloyd Dobler is, like, the relationship is over when he is standing in front of her house.
For sure. For sure.
At distance, though.
At audible distance.
Right.
They've at least been in a relationship. This isn't a let me stalk this woman who I've never even kissed situation. They banged in the back of his car, Sean.
They did.
Which does not give him
I'm not saying
that
it's like awesome.
He doesn't have any future, but he just wants to date the daughter. Like that's all he cares about.
She gave him a pen.
Right. But he did give her
I gave you my heart.
My heart, right? Yeah. He did give his heart.
How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
I do have a scrap I want to just mention.
Yeah, let's hear it.
In the holidays, in the locker room, our I believe it's the blonde jock, one of the jocks, closes his locker and he has a Star of David on his locker. And then the girl, Iris or whoever it is, has a red cross. And this is like during the holidays. I just found that fascinating. I don't understand. I thought
it was a locker next to his.
It might have been the locker next to him, but regardless, a locker is revealed and one of them, and there's nothing else is mentioned about any of this. I just found it fascinating and very distracting.
My note is like Star of David on the locker for the one Jew in Tucson.
Right. Did they mark him? Like, what is happening? Why do we need to know? Was it representation? Did they suddenly feel like,
Hanukkah needed its moment too? Yeah.
Yeah, we should.
It could have just been like lack of art direction in this movie, and they just had to use a real kid's locker.
And that kid had a Star of David just on.
And they didn't clock it. I don't know.
That was pretty prominent.
It feels like you couldn't not clock that, but
especially when the red cross is like 3 lockers. It was.
I think they're probably just using it to like qualify when that time is passing. Honestly,
absolutely,
but
totally.
Strange.
But it did feel like not strange that there would be a Star of David. I don't want to say that like there should be that.
It's just a strange choice.
It was an odd choice.
Yeah.
To have that and just how they dealt with, and it brings me to like how they dealt with holidays. That was such a nothing burger Thanksgiving that my daughter was like, wait, what happened to Thanksgiving when they were already at New Year's? Like, it's like the way they showed time passing was that, the Thanksgiving dinner at their house where I believe they tell the son to shut up. I think that's the same scene. Maybe it's not, where they're eating the turkey. And then they represent Christmas by the locker slamming.
2 lockers, yeah.
And they have these are 2 different holidays. And then it is New Year's. It just was like a interesting choice.
So while we were watching, both Jackie and I clocked his house, and we both were like, this is a Chi-Chi's. Did it strike anyone as weird like that they seemed Chi-Chi's restaurant? Chi-Chi's Mexican
like the restaurants. I wanted to make sure, not pizza, but like the Chi-Chi's. I wanted to make sure we were in the same.
No, same.
Not Chi-Chi's.
Chi-Chi's is coming back, by the way.
Oh, thank goodness! I'm just so glad.
Finally.
Oh. Whew.
Did it strike anyone else as weird that apparently the only TV in his house is in the kitchen?
It's this small.
That's so weird. I did see that. I was like, because he has to use the
remote.
He has to, like Chucky, or whatever his brother's name is commandeering the remote control. And so he's begging his brother to change it. But I'm like, I mean, maybe it's I feel like there's a scene though in the beginning where they're in the living room and the TV is on.
Sure, why wouldn't he be able to watch TV in the living room? There's no way the TV that he has to watch American Bandstand on.
Maybe his dad is watching TV in the other, like maybe the mom is watching her stories. I don't know.
Feels like they need a line to make that scene not read just completely bizarrely.
Except for then they'd need so many more lines because every scene in this movie reads so bizarrely. But yeah, and also he's so close to the TV. It's like when we're going, I need the remote, when this just reaching forward and clicking at that point. It's not like our TV today where you got to figure out a button at the back that is like censored and which one is it? No, this was like, I had one of these TVs. You pushed the button to turn it.
They had knobs.
Turn it off and turn it on. Again, AI is super excited about this one. I did like their house, though. I'm not going to lie. I know it's a Chi-Chi's. Maybe I'm just full-on Chi-Chi's mode.
I'm not saying I wouldn't live in a Chi-Chi's.
That house was a pretty interesting architectural choice. And, like, it had some cool... The stonework in the living room, how dark that room was, that was pretty cool.
You guys all like the Jabot khakis that he was wearing?
With the tag, with, like, the sign. Oof, yeah. Those were status, man. That was some status right there.
That cut of pant is disgusting.
What? Tell me more.
Did anybody have a live band at a high school dance?
No, never.
Especially for the Columbus Day dance?
Never once.
All the off holidays got a lot of attention.
This movie is just jumping holiday to holiday.
Did you see that Chuck Lorre wrote like 3 songs on the soundtrack?
No. But also in Columbus Day, they had a giant ship behind that live. Talk about, in our same exploration of appropriation, like not that more just Columbus Day as a whole, right, at that point and where we are now, but that giant picture of the Nina or the Santa Maria or whichever one it was behind the live band. Sean, so many,
you'll know
you
when
don't
you
know,
say
the 80s. I will. I'll definitely know which one it is because I've left brain space for that these
all of
days.
our viewers will as well. They'll be like,
yeah.
oh, okay.
I'd like to forget. I didn't go to high school in the 80s, but according to every movie, they always had a live band.
It's so strange.
Every movie for whatever dance, you had a live band because you got to interact with someone.
Because they had to sell soundtracks.
And that, I mean, if you're going to go for the real, like, dark and jaded, Josh, but maybe it's just because they wanted to employ live musicians. Okay,
it's a revenue stream that it's a revenue stream that the studio cares about.
Of course, and that was a good soundtrack.
We haven't really talked about it, but I was kind of thinking to myself, how long is this movie going to go before we hear "Can't Buy Me Love"?
The whole movie,
and it was like just
a minute.
No,
the opening, right? The opening, and then we don't hear it until the end.
We don't hear it until the end.
We haven't really talked about this, but Michael Jackson did own the rights to this at the time.
Right.
And they screened the movie for him. He liked it and let him use it. And let him use it for the name of the movie.
And that's why it's only in the opening and closing. Because I think it was Boy Rents Girl before, right?
Yes.
It was that. Oh, I did want one more scrap that I was super excited about. Paula Abdul. Can we just give her a shout out for choreographing that really fabulous routine? I'm assuming she did both the Columbus dance and the cheerleading, but I don't know.
I mean, she was a Laker girl and then a Laker girl choreographer, so I'm assuming it was both.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that she definitely choreographed that cheerleading
She's also
routine.
credited as a cheerleader.
Yeah, she's in it.
Yeah.
I tried to find her, and I could not find her in it.
I think she's just on the field, but it was hard to tell. I
paused.
Watched the beginning again to see.
I paused, and I still couldn't figure, because Paula is forever my girl.
Did you zoom and enhance? And
I didn't, because the particular streaming service that I was watching on would not let me zoom and enhance a VHS.
As Josh knows in his other podcast, in SVU, you always have to zoom and enhance.
Or in interior Chinatown.
Or that. But a shout out to Paula, because she's awesome. I have nothing bad that I will ever say about that woman.
Do we want to fix this?
Do we have any major gripes?
I mean, I feel like that's what we've been doing for 2 hours, right? Major gripes.
What's your biggest gripe?
Biggest?
Just one quick hit, since we've talked about them all so much.
I really have a very difficult time with the gratuitous underage girls in lace undies. Like, that is a big, all of the times that you're showing these young girls in these situations that you were representing these women like Iris, that they're just all like, oh, who's her next victim? Like portraying these women, these young girls, even if they were over age, the sexualization of young girls, I think across the board, I have an issue with. Now, that doesn't necessarily have to do with like the plot or the funny. I'd say if we're going super, but I think that is my biggest gripe.
And I think Tina Kaspari is a minor here. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think she's a minor who's Barbara. And she is wearing like white cotton with no bras often.
Yeah.
Like, that's a minor.
So I think that gripe, and then just the representation across the board, right? Like just that we're not, but that's and then I say, but like, I wasn't going in expecting, as I said in this, like, I expected that that's the movie that I was going to see, and that's the movie I saw. So for me to suddenly have a gripe with something that I knew was going to happen is sort of like, oh, I'm shocked that what I knew was going to happen is what happened. But I will say that that's probably that. And then if we're going with pure, not the sort of soapbox or the larger context, my biggest gripe is that music replacing any acting or any plot or lines. Like
filling in the gaps for not having done the work.
Yeah, and for me, he's prolific. This composer is prolific, but that soundtrack was not particularly exciting. It felt like Casio, a sort of Casio.
So, unfortunately, I did kind of like spend some time and look this guy up. His name's Robert Folk. He did the music for this movie. He's prolific, but like not great credits, like Maximum Risk and The Neverending Story 2 and Ace Ventura 2. I feel like he's just kind of like going through the motions on a lot of this. And they had this music that kept coming up with these synth flutes.
Oh, yes.
That's really bad. You hear it in their first kind of negotiation, but it's a very hokey, very grating. Do 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 do. I'm like, what I'm doing sounds way better than how it actually sounds in the movie.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But yeah, the music is, I mean, you could have a gripe with start to finish with the scoring of this movie.
Oh, and sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say the throwaway line, he must be in special ed. What the actual, all of those.
There's a lot of those.
All of them throughout the whole thing. And I know you made mention of it, reference to it earlier, but just the being okay with all of this, given permission to just, for the sake of a joke. Oh, what? I was just being funny. It's like his outfit, not okay.
My biggest gripe, I mean, I think that Ronald becomes irredeemable. And I think even with the persistence and like the alligator tears, he has that moment like when he has nothing, right? Like he needed to kind of have that realization when he had a bit more agency. And even the confrontation with the bully, like just a small thing, but he needed to come into that situation to save Kenneth without a weapon. He needed to put himself in the line of fire, knowing that he was going to get beat up without holding a bat. We have to give skinny ass fucking Patrick Dempsey like a bludgeoning weapon, whereas he should have just taken the bullet. It should have been like, I'm going to say this, we used to be friends. If you have to hit anybody, you hit me. And then like my minor gripe, which is a big thing, but still like a very small minor part of the movie we talked about, is the awful use of the big girl for a sad fucking lazy joke. That is toxic. And kids watching this then, kids watching this now, I hope kids watching this now clock it. But kids watching it then, just ha ha ha. She's big and a nerd, and we're going to use her and use that poor actress to show you Ronald's station in life. Yeah. Just fucking lazy shit. Yeah. Comedy.
All of it, all those throwaway lines, and not even, and how damaging and toxic they really are. I mean, it is all that stuff. He does, I mean, the big gripe, like cancel culture, he really should have just been canceled because they didn't do a good job with letting him, of redeeming him.
And to quote unquote reward that character with the girl at the end, to ride off into the sunset, which, you know.
Literally.
Yeah. And
with his cowboy hat. See, that was some smart. They were like, ooh. Now I understand the cowboy hat. It took us getting to this moment for me to say, that was the artistic, that was some deep stuff. Sorry, continue.
Josh, gripe.
I think that this is like a blueprint for all the tech bro fuckers who would basically use their money to exploit people who are in need, you know, like predatory capitalism. So.
Yeah.
I think it's obvious. I don't need to go into it further.
But I like to. I always love unpacking predatory capitalism. Come on. Pretty Woman. I mean, that's all of it, right? All of it.
Ugh.
Not to drop that bomb at the end,
that movie
but
too.
I'm so on board with all of what you all say.
Okay, so how would we fix this movie? Just one thing apiece, since we're running long. Starting with Canedy, if you got a fix.
I'm gonna defer to you all first, because it is hard to think about how... Okay. It was remade. I didn't see the remake, but...
No.
I mean, they're two small things, and I don't know if they're saviors at all. I don't know if it would like help beyond the initial premise, but I do think making her mom super strict and super angry, and that she is going to catch hell, and like she's going to go one more screw up, Cindy, and it's off to boarding school or something. You know, raise the stakes so that the fear of her mother feels a bit more of a deterrent in that, oh shit, I just ruined this thing. And again, like the murkiness of their financial station, $2,700 outfit, is that enough that her mother would be like, yes, you made the right decision, or yes, like I could see why you did this because you were so scared of me. I don't know. That's one tiny little thing. And again, I just think if Ronald appreciated or valued Cindy's popularity, knew she was the most popular girl in school, but didn't also love her, plausibility-wise, this makes more sense. Because when she does show feelings for him, if she's just the most popular girl in school, then it's things that he can't see. But this is what he wants more than anything, is Cindy. So, again, those are my two things. I don't know if we have a better movie here. It's just what I would have done.
Listening, deep, active listening, Sean, to what you were just saying, I figured out what my fix would be. Okay. I think, taking everything you've said, because I think we've been talking about how this movie would need to be fixed throughout the entire, like, everything we've talked about is pretty much, everything needs to be fixed, except for Cindy Mancini's hair, because that was awesome. Yeah. I think Cindy Mancini ends up with Kenneth.
Wow.
Because Patrick Dempsey, she realizes he didn't really love her. He loves the idea of her. He loves the popularity where she can get him. But he has never once, throughout the whole thing, except for the one line, you can do anything you want, right? That one scene. He hasn't shown actual genuine interest in her. So we have a scene with Kenneth where that is, like, if we're going to go with this idea of, like, the nerd becomes, like, if we're doing this same idea, and that you actually can't buy love. So we're like, yeah, you can't buy love. That's right. He realizes, oh crap, I've been a total asshole. I don't know what he does. He goes and mows off into the sunset, but...
Maybe we even give him, like, a nod of like, I get it now, seeing them ride off in the cabriolet.
That, I don't know. I mean, we'd have to do some work. I'm not saying that we should rewrite this, but I think that they don't end up together at the end. Yeah. That she really legitimately goes on the journey enough that she now sees people for deeper than she did because she's seen what happened to him, because he becomes this reflection of the monster that she's been. And so she wants nothing to do with it. Right. Or like my favorite character, which is the dude with the glasses and the crazy hair and like the funny shirts that's on the Entourage, you know, or the one token black guy who comes in for like 5 minutes. I don't know. Yeah. She's with someone else and is rejecting all of that. That's how I would save this movie. And no one would be in their underwear. Nobody's in their underwear. I mean, they're all wearing underwear, but nobody's in it only.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you were going to fix it and had to keep it with the two of them getting together, you have to massively rewrite his descent. I think the impetus for everything has to actually be goodwill and not like opportunism. You can't have him then going and like running through all of her friends. None of this can happen. You can't have the breakup be as like there's so many points where he's like moves a step past beyond redemption. You know, like you have to basically scale back every single fucking misstep that he takes because he's not redeemable.
Well, it's the two movies, right? Earnest or satirical slapstick, right? And so you got to either go with Earnest, which scales all that stuff back and makes him more and gives us reason for motivations and higher stakes for all of their choices and actions that's deeper, or you just clear all that out. You cut out the love of that he has for her, and we're talking satirical. This is, look how stupid it is to be popular.
Yeah, not to kind of go back to this too much, but Say Anything is one movie.
Yeah.
And a lot more effective because of it.
Mm-hmm. Ferris Bueller.
It's totally
Ferris
united.
Bueller is a one, like, that's not a love story, but it's a one, like, you have one. Yes, but Say Anything is a coherent voice, so.
Yeah, the tone from start to finish. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Saving graces. Does anyone have a saving grace for this movie?
Yeah, like, I do really like the scene in the arcade with Kenneth. I think it's well done. I mean, it's almost like, outside of the video game shots, it's almost one shot. But I do think, like, the only time where I was like, oh, that's like a really good joke, is when all the nerds recognize the African anteater dance.
Yes.
And they're so happy that they recognize it. I don't think you needed to add the token black guy in that scene suddenly, but still, it is really funny that they knew this.
They were watching
thing.
PBS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a saving grace, Canedy?
I think it's Amanda Peterson.
Same.
I'm going to give her, like, she did a really lovely job with some pretty crappy. I mean, and Patrick Dempsey did the best he could too, but he's a bit chewing the scenery in some of those scenes. But she really, she embodied it. And that's the thing I remember most about it as a kid, like, is her. So it makes sense too that I would forget the middle because she's not as prominent in the middle. But yeah, I would say it's her. And it just is more tragic that knowing everything else makes that sort of a
Yeah, she was robbed a good career, and she was robbed a good life. The projects, too, that would have subsequently come from this, because this was a breakout performance for her. This was a movie that a lot of people saw. I don't know box office, but I'm imagining it made back its budget.
$31 million.
Yeah, that's a lot for this type of movie.
It was 34th at the box office in 87.
Yeah,
non-union feature. You assume it made 6 times its budget.
A lot of people saw this.
Calculated for inflation, that's $2,700. So they did
Patrick
well.
Dempsey, goes off to have a really great career.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Although it takes a long time.
It takes a long time after the initial teen Tiger Beat kind of fame to wear off. But yeah, she had with a good screenplay and a good director in hypothetical projects that come after this, she has a solid career.
Yeah.
But she was derailed.
Yep, but she was robbed of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, Canedy, you were looking forward to revisiting Can't Buy Me Love. How did you ultimately end up feeling about this film upon your return to it these many years later?
Oh, the way I feel about so many of those movies from that time when I go back and watch them and I go, darn, damn, shit. I enjoyed watching it again. I did, but mainly because it took me down memory lane. If I could separate and just watch it for the sheer nostalgia, I couldn't, actually. As I said that, I couldn't ever separate it. But those little moments that I went, oh, this is the anteater. Right, that's where that came from. The cabriolet. Oh, right, that's where that came from. That's why that's something that's so ingrained in me. And I enjoyed watching it with my daughter to hear her commentary, because that was very enlightening and reassuring to me. It's just how she interacted with it. We've come a long way, baby, said Virginia Slims. So I probably won't watch the movie again. I feel like maybe this was a good sort of full circle, one could say, about this movie. Yeah. I will listen to the song again, not the soundtrack. And I am going to go actively seek out a white suede outfit to wear for Halloween with my husband, because now I can't, not real suede, because I feel like that's the one piece of this that could...
This is
with the halter top, or
you can't see this body right here, but it looks good in a halter top.
No, I'm just more. Are you gonna seek it out? The 3-piece halter top white suede suit. Is that what you're gonna be going for?
Yeah, I'm going to fully embody that so I can let it go. That's, the like, what is it? Cognitive behavioral therapy, where you do the action and then I can let it go. Get red wine spilled on it, then let it go. And I can let go of Cindy Mancini from the grip she's had on my heart in that specific way. Let it go.
So maybe, Josh, this seems evident that we would put this in the show notes.
No.
But we've found the outfit, which you can buy for, it looks like about $850.
Is that with inflation?
This is current money. Ships from New Jersey.
Yes, it does.
Shipping. $30 shipping.
Yes,
it's made from white faux suede. And it comes with the earrings and the belt as well.
Oh my gosh. Can we do a GoFundMe? Like,
this
can
is
we
pretty
full
amazing
on-
that this is available even. But
can't
it is
believe
on
that.
Etsy right now.
Unfortunately, it won't still be a live link. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find this when we drop the episode.
Yeah, but you never know.
Well, it's there now,
Just a
everybody.
second. I'll share screen it real
Holy
fast so
cow.
people watching on YouTube can see it.
Let's give a shout out to this Etsy store. It is called Custom Costumes Caprio. Caprio.
That's amazing.
And I will say that it's probably going to be available because she says she can make other sizes based on if the supplies are still available. So she has a size small, it says here, but definitely.
You can all see this, right?
Oh, yeah. This
Okay,
is,
that
I tell you
is-
what, if the funds are raised, I think one of you should wear it. I think if,
We see some
I feel like if you can
some
get a
close-ups.
GoFundMe, wow.
Look at the fringe on this thing.
This is impressive. Oh, look at that. There she is.
Wow. Yeah, they have the
Oh, yeah. And the grommets, that's looking good. Or maybe not. Oh, I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
So cute.
A lot of sass.
Oh, here we are on a
Oh.
real human. Not that
Well,
she's
she,
not a real human, but
I will say that the person modeling this might be the designer has chosen to wear kind of a is it a camisole or something underneath the halter
Yeah.
top?
Here, let me go back to it.
there she
Yeah, I think
she's got
yeah.
something. Yeah.
That's
But
smart.
if you buy it, you can wear it however you want.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to talk with my husband and just see if this is a purchase that he's willing.
This is with him,
Like, unfortunately, Can't Buy Me Love was not one of his.
Sure.
He's never seen this movie, so it's not going to be quite as enticing.
This doesn't
to
fulfill
see his
some
wife.
fantasy for
No,
him?
no, this
Yeah.
isn't like the Leia fantasy in
Sure.
Empire
Right.
or Return.
Return. Yeah, dude. On Jabba's palace.
I was full on. I think Leia in Empire is definitely much more appealing, but in Jabba's world, it's not the same. So I don't think he's going to go be down for.
What you should do is like when he requests on a special night, maybe his birthday, that you wear the Leia outfit from Return of the Jedi, that you show up as like the Moon of Endor Ewok like speeder bike Leia.
You know my husband. You know he'd be way
That's
more
probably
down.
more alluring. Yeah.
Also, I don't know what relationship you think we have, but that doesn't ever happen in our house. Will you please dress as Princess Leia in his Dutch accent? No, he doesn't. But if I did, I'm sure he'd be super happy. He's a Dutch guy. They're very enlightened.
They're very open-minded.
They're very open-minded. So, anyway.
I'm envisioning Paul Verhoeven.
Oh, yeah. No.
I just watched RoboDoc, the 5-hour RoboCop documentary. So.
Yeah, no. You've seen him. He's,
Yeah.
he's made appearances as my AV.
No, I'm just like
coordinator.
attitudinally speaking.
Oh, yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
definitely what he's like.
Well, I think, Canedy, that this podcast can be a good bookend for you on this relationship. You can have, you can revisit it in your memories and whatnot. And the podcast episode will always be there to listen to if you need a refresher. But I think that there are a certain percentage, maybe a majority of our guests that feel similarly, that they had an experience, that they appreciate the experience of going back to it. But this might be where the road ends.
Yes. Unless says, I really want to watch that movie again.
Unless your daughter.
Oh, shoot. Unless my daughter said, you can just beep it out every time. Just go beep.
I'm just having to like give myself time.
No, don't do that. I'm so
when
sorry.
These are happening.
I know. I'm so
That's
sorry.
fine.
I really keep forgetting. I did that when we were at our baby shower. We weren't going to say her name. And I totally said it just like I did here. And everyone went, oh. So, this is a pattern. Yeah, I actually, even if she asks, I don't think we'll watch this movie again. I feel like we're done and it will live. So thank you both for allowing me to put a nice little bow on this memory from my childhood, and I can let it go. Because you can't buy love.
So before we say goodbye to listeners at home, where can they find you, Canedy?
In my basement here in front of my computer. You can find me. Most of the updates will be on my website, CanedyKnowles.com. I am on the socials, Canedy Knowles. I am not active on them, so it's probably best to
start at the website and go from there.
Start at the website and go from there. If you happen to be in the Atlanta area, we do have a regular Saturday night improv show, which is pretty fun and popular, and you can come hang out with us there.
And where's that?
In Atlanta. No.
No. What?
Studio 13. It's in Roswell. Yeah.
Right on.
And who knows, by the time this is, when we do our secondary recording, there could be more things that are happening.
Sure. Well, Canedy, thank you for subjecting your childhood and its precious, precious memories to the scrutiny of the Unkind Rewind.
Little hearts are coming out of my hand. Thank you both so much. This has been a dream, like truly a dream come true.
This was very therapeutic for me.
Poof.
Like, just getting a lot of this out. So maybe I can skip my session this week.
It's almost like this movie was messed up.
It's weird. And like we're seeing the reflection of so many of the reasons why we're having a hard time navigating life and relationships and, I don't know, society.
Yeah.
Now we finally found the culprit.
We did. It's Can't Buy Me Love. Quick, let's all let everyone know. That's my favorite when Gen Xers go like, we're great. Nobody knew where we were during the night. And look at us. We turned out great. Like, we ate Cheetos. We're great. I'm like, really? Are we, though? Are we?
Yeah.
We are.
Not so much.
We're awesome. Best generation.
The greatest generation?
I mean, what?
Well...
It's amazing that it does that.
Thank you, Canedy, for joining us.
It was my pleasure. Thank you both.
Thanks, Canedy. Come back some other time with a new culprit.
Yeah.
With something else that ruined.
With a new movie to ruin.
I'm always up for a trip down memory lane.
Well, thanks again. And we'll see everybody next week.
Bye.
That was another installment of the Unkind Rewind, mining our childhood for content, one film from a guest's past at a time. Unkind Rewind is a Munchcasts production and can be listened to wherever you download your podcasts and watched on the Unkind Rewind YouTube channel. Music for this and every other episode of Unkind Rewind was composed by Divorcio Suave. Rate, review, like, and subscribe to Unkind Rewind on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and Good Pods. Links to all of our social media accounts are in our show notes, but you'll find us as at Unkind Rewind Pod on Letterboxd and nearly every social media platform, all of which can be found at our website, unkindrewind.com. If you have a question, concern, complaint, or feedback, you can email the podcast at unkindrewindpod@gmail.com or call into our call-in line, area code 507-479-6440, and leave a message that can be played on air. Fans should join the Munchcast Discord to discuss this or any other episode of the Unkind Rewind with like-minded people. This dialogue may just make it into a future episode of the pod. The Unkind Rewind Patreon will be coming soon, so start squirreling that pocket change away. Thank you for listening to the Unkind Rewind.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, you know, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.